You're listening to the Death Rattle Crew, a Hearthstone podcast.
DRC, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Death Rattle Crew. This is the Hearthstone podcast, and you're listening to episode 18. I am Mike Tattoo Hearn, joined by Matt Mushu Hill.
Indeed, you are.
And Avery Yu.
He has actually died.
I am. Yeah.
He's not dead in a ditch. He's halfway in the ditch.
He's full of Kenny Rogers, for those of you playing at home and know what that is. I am full of the whole block of chocolate, and I am not feeling great.
Food coma.
Oh,
Horrible.
that's so sad. Well, don't forget you can find us on your podcast catcher of choice, be it iTunes, Stitcher, whatever it may be. Just search Death Rattle Crew. You can also find us on Twitter and YouTube. Search the handle Death Rattle Crew. What's been going on this week? Who wants to go first?
I have done shithole this week.
Again, you said that last week.
I'm in sort of like a bit of a rut.
Literal
there.
direct quote. Shithole. You said exactly
Shithole.
the same thing. I have done
Yeah,
shithole this week.
Is it a shittle or a shit all?
It is a shithole, also known as shithole.
Okay.
It's shithole
Basically-
in Australia. It's a shithole.
Shittle. Okay.
Shithole everywhere else. Nah, I'm in like a
Shithole.
weird spot where I'm like post graduation from uni, and like I've still got like the job I had while I was at uni, and just working there more. And I'm like, there's a bunch of decisions to be made. One of them, like I was contemplating, like I was talking about a while ago, was moving out and streaming, but obviously there's like that's a really big commitment. And like I worked out, I guess the logistics of it all, and it's doable, but I'm having trouble pulling the trigger, so I'm just sort of faffing about at the moment. That's really what I'm doing with my life.
And Matt's growing up before our eyes.
Faffing about.
Well, what do you think it takes to get you to do that? Is it just a personal decision, or only, or?
Well,
It's 1,000 viewers. That's what it takes.
it's a fucking all-in decision, because living in Australia, I would move out into one of my mates' places where where he has fast enough internet, in which case I could stream, and the plan would be stream from 10 a.m. to around 4 or 5 p.m. my time, which is GMT plus 8, and then go to work in the evening. And so yeah, I'd stream, I guess, in what would be referred to as Australian business hours, like that would be my day job, and then work at nighttime. And so I would only be making enough money from my night job to be able to sustain myself through streaming. So I wouldn't be like saving anything. I wouldn't be building anything. Like I wouldn't be building savings. I wouldn't be building like a career, unless like, I guess, like taking off from in terms of streaming. But like starting from, I guess, ground zero in streaming, like I don't have the only, I guess, sort of following that I have is like who from this show is like DRC people who would be interested in what I have to say. But other than that, I don't have like anything to, I guess, back me. And I've read like I've got a few friends who are quote unquote in esports. Like I've got a guy I got a mate who is a coach for one of the Oceanic Pro League of Legends teams, and I've got another mate who is like a esports journalist in Australia, and just sort of like gotten feedback from them and read a few blog posts about how much streamers actually make. And I don't know, it's something that I want to do, but it's not something I know that I should do or not. It's
I feel like streamers, they're either making bank or they're just doing, like, nobody does okay. You know what I mean? Like it's either nothing or it's like the world.
Well, I was thinking about it, like, and in like if Forsen makes 18K a month, and if I could even make like a quarter of that, then I would be like chuffed. Like, well, even 1/9 of if I could make 2K a month from streaming, then I would be like absolutely chuffed. Like that would be enough for me, sort of thing.
Sure.
I don't know. It's basically it's a lot of commitment. So basically, I'm postgrad and should be applying for postgrad or like graduate positions and stuff if I was going like a normal route of life. But yeah, it's basically a hard decision in my mind. Like it's just waiting there. All I have to do is say yes or no. That's like basically where I'm at the moment. That's why I'm faffing about. That's why I'm not doing anything, because the real decision is too hard to make, and I can just ignore the decision at the moment and do nothing and just take life week to week.
All right, so we need listener responses then. That's what we need. Emails.
Who would want to watch Mushu stream?
That's right. Not even
Send me
that.
an
Be
email.
like, we need like just like love letters and just letters in general. Matt, to you.
Hate mail's fine as well, I think.
I'm
Hate mail
down.
is more than welcome to Mushu. He lives off that. Like, it's his lifeblood. So
That is what sustains you, isn't it? It's the rage.
Oh yeah,
The troll.
I run hot, I burn hot, and rage burns hot.
So Matt's been wanting to fight all day today since we've started. That's really what it
Yeah.
started.
I just keep challenging people to fight. So it's just
I think it was
ridiculous.
the first minute of us, even like when we just made the call start. I think you were like, "You want to fight?" I don't think 60 seconds went by.
Fight me, IRL.
Well,
no reason, no provocation.
Avery, what's going on with you?
I've been kind of busy this week, like with my semi-part-time job. It's becoming a lot less part-time because life sucks. But other than that, just kind of playing ladders slowly as well, not trying to like play too much or anything. Like trying to do other things. Currently sitting at rank 5. I was at 4, but I kind of dropped off. I've made the decision this month to learn Patron, so I'm just gonna play Patron the whole month. And if
Okay.
I don't make Legend, then I don't make Legend. But,
That's what I'm doing. I'm still learning Patron. I'm nearly at I'm nearly at 250 wins with Warrior, and I'm gonna get to 500. When I get to 500 wins with Patron, I'll consider myself learned Patron.
If I can hit Legend with Patron, I'm gonna consider myself learn Patron. You know, it only takes me about a month to learn a deck, like at a point where I'm comfortable. Like, it took me a month with Zoo, a month with Oiro. Control Warrior took like a week, but that's because the deck's quite simple.
Right.
My next on my list is Patron, so I want to like learn laterally, so I have like a bigger spread of options when it comes to tournaments and stuff. So, and like, why would a player not try and learn the best deck in the format in the game right now, right? So,
Sure.
yep, that's my goal basically.
Okay.
So no big crushing life decisions.
I'm just kind of waiting for school, man. Like, let me see. I mean, I do kind of have one. Like, basically, I'm starting like law school, and in Singapore, law school is like it's insane. It's like a lot of work. But,
There's a lot of laws in Singapore.
there actually are a lot of laws in Singapore. But anyway, like you can't like it's illegal to sell chewing gum. Online gambling is illegal. Our country's ridiculous. But anyway, basically like because I finished, because in Singapore we have compulsory national service where I go to army. I'm like fresh out of army like for 6 months. So like in this interim period, I've been coaching my alma mater's debate team because I used to be a debater, and basically most coaches take them for each team or each like they try and take for 2 to 3 years. That's how our school has a succession plan, like 2 or 3 years until you cannot take it anymore, and then like someone else comes up who wants to do it eventually, like a junior, and then he'll take over you, and in 2 or 3 years. This year was kind of easy, but next year is gonna be difficult because of school. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure if I want to continue. It's kind of hard to decide, but yeah. Basically,
Not considering a professional hosting career at all.
Oh wait, I have actually like thought about it, but like streaming is kind of unrealistic in Singapore. There's not enough viewers and not enough like support. Then like one of my friends commented recently, the number of skilled players to like interested like viewers who would donate is like ridiculously low in Singapore. Like just because we're all Asian, we're all stingy as fuck, so no one's going to donate and no one's going to play.
I like to think Australians are generous, and like the time that I would stream, I'd catch like the arse end of the NA. So like it'd be sort of like when middle of my stream would sort of be like 9, 10, 11 NA time. Yeah, I like to think I'm interesting. I try to be entertaining. Skill will eventually come sometimes, but and it's more about being entertaining, right?
That's right.
That's
The
what I
problem is
try
I
to do
only,
on
I
this
only
show.
I only really play one game though. Like it's a bit hard to break into a market that way. But yeah, locally it's just too difficult, and like most like I don't want to be stuck at a point where like I'm streaming for 7 months and I have like 10 viewers. You know what I mean? It's just very difficult to
That'd be
like
soul crushing, basically.
yeah, so difficult to accept. And like more importantly, there's a lot of shifting like life wise, like school and like year by year the requirements are different and the time I might have to spend is different. So I don't have a regular routine. If I were working in a job, it's kind of like cushy. I wouldn't mind trying. Like if it doesn't take like as in like if not too much else would change in my life and I can plan in a way that I can fit in streaming somewhere, I really wouldn't mind doing that. Like, but I don't think I'm gonna be in that position for like years. So I'm not really considering that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, I'm just, as I said, I'm just really having trouble pulling the trigger on doing it because I'm at a point where where I don't have it like many commitments. Like I've got like my job, and that I'm fortunate enough to work for Woolworths, who are like they're a really massive company and they're a really good company, and they've been able to like support me through my entire study, and I'm still working with them now. And yeah, I think I'd be able to find like I wouldn't have much like other time, but I guess the dream would be to like build where it would start being worth it is where I could like make some sort of money off streaming, or even just have more, as you say, more than 10 people watch me. That's really what I would, to get Twitch partnership would be like, that would be my absolute goal, is like that would be like the tops, is just get
You could-
that.
I mean, like I was looking through like various options as to what I could like pick up Hearthstone wise, in terms of monetary stuff and just kind of exposure, which is kind of like why I was quite interested in starting doing this show in the first place. It's not for money, but like just doing more things because like I'm interested enough in the game to want to put more stuff out there. There are actually a lot of like posts available on like online for like writing gigs, like if you were interested. And like some sites pay pretty shittily, but they accept almost anything. And some sites are looking for like content managers, especially like a lot of teams are looking to branch into Hearthstone. They're looking for content managers for their sites. And of course, the amount of work that would go into that and the amount of skill in terms of like graphics and coding is out of my reach. I can only write and talk, and I can't code for fuck. But like these positions are becoming more available. So if anyone's interested, you can really go Google and look them up. Because I did, and I found that there was a lot of space for this. It's just that I don't have the skill set required to do that. But they were looking at paying like something like 1.2 to 1.5 USD like a month, which is pretty solid if you can do this like as a side thing,
Yeah, it's a side gig. Yeah, all I could really do is like talk, and I could write. I've been like quite long-winded in writing. Like being concise is not one of my strong points. I like to elaborate. That's part of the reason I think that this is a 3-hour podcast, is that we like to be long-winded.
Yeah, that's true.
So what you just said is a nice way of saying rants and tangents.
Rants and tangents and everything in between.
Nice.
Like Sylvanas and Tyrion.
Oh god.
Yeah. Like you get your shorter podcast where they're like an hour and a half long. That's all well and good. Then you get DRC, 2.5, 3 hours long. It's as my dad would always say, different strokes for different folks, or hopefully some crossover.
Right.
Wait, I have something to say.
Say
both of you know this, but basically, what happened in this week? Okay, so for those who didn't listen last week, though, if you listened this week, you should have listened to last week. But basically, we kept mocking Mike for getting his Sylvanas stolen, his Tyrion stolen by Sylvanas in a 1 in 5. Like it was just a funny in joke that we just kept doing because it was funny every single time. And it happened to me like a few days ago. It was soul crushing. I think I cursed myself like by laughing along to Matt's nonsense and actually having the balls to play Paladin. I have allowed myself to have been cursed by my bad karma for mocking Mike.
It is soul crushing, isn't it?
Like it happened, and I was just not even upset. I was like, "Yep, I knew it. That's gonna happen.
Yeah,
this is where I concede. I just conceded and moved on to the next game. Like it wasn't even like a what? Are you kidding me? I was like, "Yep, bound to happen. That's just how Sylvanas works.
Sylvanas is stupid.
It was actually even Sylvanas. I had mustard, so it was actually like Sylvanas and like 411.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, for an undead lady, she's quite attractive.
Yeah.
She's quite.
But she's still stupid.
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't like you, does she?
No, she hates me. Absolutely.
She most definitely hates me.
I feel like
Because
I'm quite good with Sylvanas. Maybe you gotta drop some compliments
Patreon,
here and
you
there.
never have to.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
Though, to be fair, the other day I was playing Patron and I was kind of winning pretty hard against a Temple Mage and he played Sylvanas. And I was in a situation whereby like if I had 2 patrons and 2 armor smiths, and if it was still armor smith, I'm golden, basically. But he stole a patron. And I had to trade my patron to a patron, and I had no more patrons. And I realized that was probably the stupidest play I could have ever made.
Oh.
Trading your patron for a patron.
No, like I basically inner raged a patron and then hit it in to Sylvanas. And to clear the Sylvanas, and I had 2 patrons remaining, and it's still 1 patron which I had to trade into the other patron. Yeah. Because he's a mage, he can ping his patron, I can't just leave it there. Right?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And then armor smiths as well, so like yeah, it was horrible.
That's
like
sad.
And I lost the game just from that very sad
I think the real question is though, what's going on with you, Mike? What's what's the TAC 2 week been like?
What's shaking?
TAC 2.
I haven't been messing with ladder too much, but arena, I have been killing it. I went through a run earlier this week and just destroyed, and I'm like, I'm gonna keep on it. And I'm doing pretty damn good in arena this week. I don't know what it is. Maybe everyone who's good in arena is playing constructed this week. I don't know. I'm
when you say good, what do you mean? Like give us numbers, give us stats.
Oh, like 8 wins. I haven't gone 12 this week yet. Basically, I think I've been averaging around 6, but 7. Right now, I'm on running a paladin. I'm at 9 wins with only 1 loss so far. So this might be the 12 win this week.
I still haven't gotten 12. I've got 11.
What?
Yeah, dude. I just I never went through an arena grind phase like you did, Avery. I just sort of played here and there. And then one time, like I think one of the times I was drafted basically a zoo deck and went 11-0 and then lost 3 in a row.
Right.
And I was just like, I hate my life. Yeah. I hate my life.
That's not even that bad. I went 6-0 and 6-3. So
6 wins is still good. I mean, 7's kind of the. I mean,
7's the line where you get
that's
recompense,
right?
Right,
and a free card, right? Yeah, no, and I'm doing it with the paladin, and I've played so the further you get along, the more mages you see, and I've been destroying mages. So this might be my 12 win this week. Who knows? But other than that, no, man, just work's going good. This morning.
What about you, Mike?
What?
Are you, since you have the coding capabilities, would you consider picking up streaming if you had the opportunity?
As a wife,
yeah.
Can't do that.
So does Kibler, and I mean, come on.
Right.
And a kid as well.
Yeah. Wait, does he have a kid?
I'm pretty sure he had I thought it was one on the way or something.
Maybe on the way, but he does not yet have a child.
Right.
I don't think he's married yet.
Yeah.
What?
He's not married to Ned yet. They're just living together and probably gonna get married. Yeah.
Alright. The real question is, Mike, if you're in my situation, what would you do? Tell me how to live my life.
So if you don't know, here's the thing. All right, if I didn't, so do you know if you want to go back to school or not?
Well, see, I applied for, as you do for anyone who knows anything about psychology, the undergrad doesn't cut it to be a psychologist.
Sure.
In order to call yourself a psychologist, you have to do your undergrad, then your postgrad. And I applied for several postgrad courses, but I was knocked back. Partly, I think, partly was due to arrogance in one of my interviews, but that was more of an oversight by my mind anyway. And so I applied for a couple of grad positions and shit, and nothing really materialized. And I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm just not going to do anything. And yeah, so basically the options that I had left in terms of pursuing psychology was sort of like join the army or the armed forces and try and get my master's that way. Or there's another thing called the College of Professional Psychology where you pay money and they give you like a master's experience and stuff like that. So basically that's one option, and I could just go and get a like a regular job like juicing in like human resources or something. The problem is I don't want to do something next that I don't want to do.
Sure.
Like I did my in Australia, like you get to the end of high school, they're like, all right, now apply for your 6 top choices for university courses. And I plugged, something psychology in because it sounded cool at the time. And I'm a very sort of like, I'll finish it kind of guy. So I just stuck with it, even though I wasn't particularly like keen on it. I was just like, I'm just going to fucking finish it because I'm stubborn.
Mm.
So the next move in my life, I just want to make like because I want to do it, not because I think I have to do it. Can you see the problem?
Yeah. So, I mean, well, first question is if you can you reapply? Like, is that a yearly thing? Like, where you can reapply? Like here in the States, I mean,
yeah,
you can, I guess.
Yeah, I can reapply, and my scope was quite small, so I only applied at the uni that I went to. Whereas there's another 3 unis in my state alone, and there's like 6 billion other unis in Australia.
Right.
So I could go to any one of those other unis. But the difference is like psychology, it will be there in like a year's time. Streaming Hearthstone might not be, sort of thing.
Right. So like you've got to do you have to wait a year before you can reapply for it? Like is that just kind of the school year kind of thing?
No, there's half yearly intake.
Okay.
I sort of missed that because I faffed around a bit. So it would be the start of next year.
Okay.
Is what I would be doing.
I think you should go for it.
Yeah, man. I think so too.
It's just a year.
What the hell, dude? Like just do it for a year, and I mean, you're still young, man. You can still go back to school. I mean, yeah.
And even if you don't stream, like you could just decide to spend more time like on Hearthstone in general. You could just like, like go for like a more tournament oriented experience if the streaming thing doesn't work out, or you realize you don't really have a knack for it,
Yeah,
sure.
Well, that's the thing. I haven't like really. This is sort of like I guess an all or nothing kind of thing. Like I'd be going from not doing like a huge amount in Hearthstone to doing everything in like streaming every day sort of thing. Like I'd have a full-time work streaming schedule, so I might like do it for a week and like hate my life sort of thing.
Yeah. It's like maybe if you like the game enough, then maybe like like you don't need to stream. You could just like try and be more competitive a player, play more tournaments, and try and like grind points or whatever.
But that's work, right? Doing something, all day, almost every day, and you get sick of it, but you still do it anyway.
Yeah, I don't think I'm like necessarily averse to like work. It's like it's not that I hate work. Like I don't mind what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't want to like get into like something I don't want to do next. Like,
sure,
yeah, big life decision, boys.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it is. Yeah, it's
maybe we can talk about decks for the rest of the show, and you at the end of it, you see if like this kind of conversation is what you want to be doing for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
or the rest of the year at least.
I was gonna say Hearthstone lasts for another like 60 years. It's just becomes an Olympic sport and shit like that.
Wow.
I mean, it could always
really sweet.
It could always open opportunities and in the industry. I guess how many people do something full time or do a podcast or something, and they get hired by the a company or maybe the company they're talking about, like Riot Games. Someone does a League of Legends podcast or writes on a web, something like that. There's always opportunity there.
Yeah, but like so the other thing is. Like there's the way I sort of explained it to I guess my mum was sort of like yeah, so this is sort of think about like the odds of someone becoming like a elite sports person. That's sort of like the same odds that I'm sort of giving myself into making it in streaming, is like going from nothing to like being a pro player is one thing. Like you can get a huge leg up by winning a tournament and then streaming. But this is sort of going from obscurity, trying to get into streaming.
I guess the real question is, do we think esports is big enough or getting big enough to support folks? I mean, I think it's bigger than it's ever been. Is it big enough?
It's only
to be bigger than it'll ever be. Like it's just an upward growing trend.
Yeah.
You know, Singapore recently, like a bunch of enterprising young men opened Singapore's first esports bar. So instead of showing like football or rugby on TV, they'll be showing like Dota games.
Well, yeah, we've been having one of the guys I used to work with started doing like a Wednesday night. It's called Respawn he has it at a bar each week, and it's a game themed night. So like it'll be like Mario Kart week. So there'll be like, billion Mario Kart stations set up, and so people come, have some drinks, play Mario Kart, and it changes
so
each
cool.
week. It's like themed. It's sort of pioneered the idea, and a bunch of other bars and clubs and stuff started doing it. So he's sort of, I guess there's just we're in a situation where it's like, I guess, a changing of a guard in terms of like what people want to do. Like, people want to go out and play games and stuff, and games are cool right now, aren't they?
Yeah.
This sort of penetrating society, like as we saw ESPN having Heroes of the Storm on, and like in 10 years' time, it'll be probably on TV. That's what I want to see. I want to be able to sit down. I don't want to have to watch Aussie Rules football. I want to watch freaking League of Legends when I get home.
Because nobody wants to watch Aussie Rules football. Ooh, shots fired.
Actually, true though.
You're not allowed in this country. I'm keen for the BlizzCon episode. That's really what I'm keen for.
Oh, I can't wait either. Yeah, that's gonna be.
Like,
are you both going to BlizzCon?
No,
that would be fantastic.
Mike is. I've already decided that I'm going to host it, and then we're going to bring you in as a guest and be like, Mike, live from BlizzCon.
Yes.
Actually, where is it? Like, when is it rather?
November 6th and 7th.
Oh, wow, so tempting.
Yeah. We've always talked about going to BlizzCon. We just never have. It's just, school.
I've been
or
doing
just
that.
Busy.
It's like, BlizzCon, let's go. And or like the dream would be to go to League of Legends finals, like the global championships, and then go to BlizzCon like a month or two later and just travel in the between.
Oh, that'd be great.
Right.
But like no discredit to you picking this year for BlizzCon, but I always wanted to go to BlizzCon when it's like a new WoW expansion.
Yes. Yeah.
Like when you go next year as well, then the new expansion. But I suppose you have like Overwatch, and there'll be like a billion, and Hearthstone's like gonna always be big because there's always gonna be expansions for Hearthstone each year. So I suppose it's like less of a World of Warcraft thing these days anyway.
And I'm wondering who's going to be the music guest. I missed out on Metallica last year. That was a little bit of a bummer.
I actually heard it was going to be Kill Paris.
Oh God. Just inside baseball. I was getting trolled earlier by Matt and his EDM music.
Lich Hop, Kill Paris, live the life. Yeah, I think so. They've had like Blink 182 and shit, and Metallica and Ozzy Osbourne when he was doing like promos.
Oh yeah, he
and
did
shit
come once, didn't he?
But that's because he was doing like the promos and shit.
Yeah,
for Wrath of the Lich King.
Yeah.
All right, so who do you reckon's gonna go? Like,
Kesha.
Fuck. Just
why not? What's wrong with Kesha? Kesha's great.
Actually, so that's Kesha's my guilty pleasure when it comes to music. Everyone's got that one band. It's like, you really listen to that? Like, so anyone who knows me knows I'm a big metalhead punk. I mean, I listen to a lot of stuff, but that's my favorite.
Hence the transitions on this show.
Right. Right.
Welcome to the Death Rattle Crew.
That's yeah. But Kesha, guilty. Maybe it's just her brutal honesty. Like, I'm strange. I'm odd, and this is who I don't know. I don't know. There's enough on that.
Got a heartbeat like the beat of the drums.
That
Oh, what a shame that you came here with someone.
That's right. And pour some glitter, make it rain. Let me see them hands. Oh God.
It's just I'm like a big fan. Like when Glee came out, and it was like a song by Key $sign Ha.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. That's what I remember. And I was a big fan of like Timbo. It's like,
the song.
Yeah. Except every time I hear Tim, I just think Tinder. It's like Tinder. And then like I'm not a huge fan of what's his name? Pitbull.
Pitbull.
Yeah.
His verse on it's pretty bad. He's got better verses elsewhere.
It's like as what Jenna Marbles, what I've learned from hip hop, that Kodak does indeed rhyme with Kodak.
Yeah, oh my god. Yes. That line is so good. I've been saying the line for like 3 years because it's just so stupid. The way it sounds.
Fan-fucking-tastic. It's sort of like I got caught out the other day because we were talking about buffalo wings, and I was like, so what is it a wing of? And someone's like, they're fucking chicken wings, you idiot. The buffalo is the sauce, and it's just like, right.
Isn't Buffalo the place? Like the place
where they made the sauce that goes on the chicken. Right. And I'm just sort of like, yeah, right. I had full on like Jessica Simpson moment. Buffaloes don't have wings. It's like, no fucking shit, buffaloes don't have wings. But what is it? Just tell me. I want to know.
That sounds like something Kesha would say.
Yeah.
But for those of you just worrying, like, oh God, I lost all respect for Mike. Don't worry. I'm going to see Lamb of God, Slipknot, Bullet for My Valentine, and Motionless in White next week or next month. Motionless in White. Yeah. So if you're in Atlanta and going to the show, let me know. Maybe we'll play Hearthstone during a Slipknot show. What do you think? Nothing more brutal.
What's the event called?
Not Fest, I think it is.
Not Fest.
Not Fest. KNOT. I think this is what it is.
Sick.
Knot Fest.
Yeah, we'll play some Hearthstone while the Into a Wall of Death. That's the dream right there, boys. That's the dream.
Man, remember that time this was the Hearthstone podcast?
Touche.
When was that?
Exactly.
4 episodes ago.
Yeah. No, just sort of talk about like me complaining about how I want to be a streamer and how I'm struggling with this decision. And
the struggle is real though. Come on, it is.
It's such like a first world problem though. It's like it's like you probably won't even make it.
Hey,
like, yeah.
I think it's a bigger deal than complaining about a $10 skin in Hearthstone.
Now that Medivh is the thing, I might want to have to.
Medivh looks really cool. Oh,
agreed.
Man. Medivh is great.
So I think we've burnt maybe the rant and the tangent token already.
You know what's more important than Medivh?
What?
Getting the meta-anatomy.
Ooh, boom. And with that, folks, let's get into meta-anatomy. DRC would like to thank Brainiacs for their support of this podcast. If you have a tech idea for improving your business's workflow, Brainiacs can provide a turnkey solution to specifically fit your needs. You can contact them at www.brainiux.com. And welcome back. This is Meta-Anatomy, your one weekly stop for everything meta in Hearthstone. I'm Tak2, joined by Mushu and Avery. And those Avery segues, Avery ways as I like to call them, are spot on for like 3 weeks in a row now.
Do you own a Segway, Avery? Is this how you practice? You just drive around Singapore on a Segway?
I was about to say I kind of wish I had a Segway, but I realized that that's kind of retarded. You want to own that.
It's kind of like trying to warrant buying a tablet when you have a OnePlus, and because it's like such a big phone, as they refer to them as phablets, and that you can get most of the functionality that you would with a tablet out of.
Isn't it like justifying trying to buy a wheelchair when you have operational legs? Like it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The speed of the device is just not.
Unless
the funny thing is like
unless you're going down hills.
Sorry, what?
Unless you're going down hills.
There are no hills in Singapore.
Oh man.
But just the only.
I mean, mostly like we have a hill that's like 20 meters above sea level, and we call it a hill. Kind of. Anyway, like the only people I've seen like ride segways in Singapore are like Caucasian tourists on a Segway tour. I kid you not, this is a real thing. Like they just zip around the city on segways.
And they're Americans.
Whatever Caucasian they are, I can't tell them apart. But yeah.
Yeah, so
probably American.
Like the episodes of South Park, the one where Cartman gets really, really fat and he needs a Segway and all that, and he goes to Walmart, everyone's in a wheelchair and a Segway. That's real. That happens.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that what America's like?
Not completely, but in little pockets, yes.
Land of opportunity. Home of the brave, land of the free.
This is not a political podcast, so we won't go there. But instead, we're going to talk about the meta. So mages let's dig into that. Tempo Mage has been. I mean, we keep saying it week to week. There are so many versions of mage decks out there. It's not just Freeze Mage and Mech Mage and maybe your Aggro Mage, but there's so many other now. But yeah, we're seeing some changes. Now, what were you going to point out, Avery? The dragon, the grinder mage?
Yeah. Okay, but before that, like just talking about like Tempo Mage for a second.
Okay.
Like Tempo Mage itself is already kind of splitting up into multiple different archetypes. The most common of which that you would probably face on ladder is the really all-in one, which goes for the Flame Waker, like Sorcerer's Apprentice, and I'm going to like combo off 8 times with it, right? So you plan to use like Arcane Missiles, Mirror Image to like kind of delay the board, Unstable Portal, Flame Cannons, Frostbolts to just out-tempo your opponent, push in as much damage as you possibly can. Eventually on like turn 6, or 5 or 6, you're going to lose board control and you just go for like a Fireball finish is basically the game plan of the deck. Which is kind of facey, but also very like tempo for the first 2 to 3 turns. So it's just a really like hardcore tempo deck that like just plans to abuse Flame Waker, and it plays like Clockwork Gnome as a source of a spare part to trigger Flame Waker with as well. But now recently, as the meta is moving along, a lot more like different forms of Flame Waker mages are being played. I'm starting to see a lot of Flame Waker mages that play Sylvanas. I mean, Boom is quite commonplace, but like Sylvanas and maybe Azure Drake for more like velocity in your deck. Rag as well to kind of beat Patron, because your deck has some difficulty facing down against a Patron deck. You have Flame Strike to counter like a hard turn, or like a turn which otherwise would not beat. Yeah, like the turn that they went like their Patron just got like crazy. Yeah. So basically Tempo Mage is diversifying as well. I don't think we'll ever see the end of this, because Mage itself is a class that has like, it's not like you can decide if the deck is aggro or the deck is control or the deck is mid-range. The way the cards play, they can really work in multiple roles. Like Fireball or Frostbolt, they're both great aggro cards for burst, and they're also good for controlling board because of how efficient they are. So like it will never be like, oh, this is the aggro version, or oh, this is the control version. Like all good lists will all operate along a spectrum, and it's like, where along the spectrum the deck is, that's going to be the point. But basically, TLDR, don't think that just because you see Flame Waker, the deck's going to be like an all-in face deck. It could be a lot slower. You could be seeing a Sylvanas, you could be seeing Boom, you could even be seeing like a Toshli Antonidas plan, which I've also been seeing recently. So, yeah.
I do remember seeing a mage deck play that. I didn't know what was going on, though.
Yeah, it's Toshli Antonidas, that's basically. Yeah. And you use the spare parts as well, like with Flame Waker if you need to, slightly earlier. Yeah. And of course, as with spare parts, if you have the board, spare parts do a lot of work. So, like, add health or whatever the effect is, they just do a lot of work when the board control is yours. So, yeah. But the cooler deck to really be talking about is Dragon Grinder Mage.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm sorry, like I have a huge distaste for like that Tempo Mage deck. I may have mentioned this before. I think the deck is horrendous. Like, it's just not to me, the deck just feels really crappy. You need like a perfect set of cards or a perfect draw for the deck to go off well. You are playing a suboptimal 3-drop that you can't even really play on turn 3 because you want to milk its upside, which is not even super impressive. Like if you compare Flame Waker in Tempo Mage to like Frothing Berserker in Patron, you see the stark difference between the two cards. Like, Frothing is a 3-drop you don't want to play on 3, but when you don't play it on 3, you're going to wreck so much face because of how much damage it deals or how much damage it represents. Flame Waker is not really the same thing, and it's very RNG dependent. And if you play it later, the one hit will matter less because all minions are gaining more health as they get big, as the threats get bigger, their health starts increasing, so the 1 damage becomes a lot less relevant as the game goes on. The only games where Flame Waker looks super good are the ones where you turn 1 Mana Worm, turn 2 Sorcerer's Apprentice. No. Turn 1 Mana Worm, turn 2 like Flame Cannon, turn 3 Sorcerer's Apprentice, Coin, Frostbolt something, turn 4 Flame Waker, Unstable Portal, Mirror Image, Arcane Missiles. Like those are the only games where like it's crazy. Other than those games, the deck is really like not great to me. But yeah.
Except,
But anyway,
except those times they crush you with Mana Worm and you just hate life.
yeah. I guess it makes it worse for me when I lose to the deck because I really don't respect it. So like whenever I lose to it, I'm like, God damn it! Like, how is this even happening? Really, this motherfucking scrub is beating me this. But anyway, yeah, Dragon Grinder Mage. So like, if people who are unfamiliar with Grinder Mage, it's an archetype that is made famous by Strife Crow, and basically it plays very few ways to win the game. It goes for a really grindy plan that like basically stretches to fatigue. It mostly uses duplicate, sometimes Echo of Medivh to try and gain value. Yeah, and it just tends to like it plays out like a control warrior without Alex and without Grom. Like there's no burst. You just play like control warrior without burst. So you just like stretch the game to forever and you just attrition your opponent out. Then a few weeks back we talked about the really cool Major Domo Grinder Mage, which I kind of stopped playing because it's not really working out that well anymore. It was really good in that period where Handlock wasn't great. But now that Handlock is getting quite popular, the deck's just not super built to beat Handlock. But basically, players have been innovating, and Brian Kibler being one of them, and Lonely Link, another player. Basically, like a new form of Grinder Mage has come out where it's a dragon-based one, and the concept is basically you play it like a typical Grinder Mage, so you abuse your Mad Scientist value for like along with duplicates and like taunts and stuff to get it duplicated. And you also play on the side dragon stuff. So Kibler's version is kind of like a mid-range grinder dragonish deck. It plays the Blackwing Tech and Blackwing Corruptor as like very sizable threats. And if you played any amount of grinder mage, you kind of know that your 3, 4, 5 turns are the weakest. Because like you're spending a lot of slots in your deck on like the early game to make sure you don't lose to Hunter. And you're spending a lot of slots on like your secrets and you need to have late game as well. So the weakest part of your game is your 3, 4, 5. You don't curve up very nicely there. And you're very reliant on like drawing your fireball to like fireball his turn 4 or like having a water alley so that you can, get some damage in on a minion or something. The deck's just really weak in the mid game. So I guess the concept of it is like he plays Hungry Dragon, he plays all these cards so that he like gets a decent mid game because like Blackwing Corruptor and Blackwing Tech are very, very strong mid game cards, and so is Hungry Dragon. So you drag it through the mid game, you play duplicate for value, eventually get to the end game, and you like just go crazy with the Nefarians and the Sarahs and stuff. The deck's just honestly like a straightforward mage control deck with dragons. That's basically the list. Like it's just not hard to picture. So yeah, it's I haven't really tried it. It looks sweet. I lost to it really badly playing Control Warrior. Like he just grounded. He just like grinded me out of the game and like played Nefarian followed by Ysera, and I just nothing I could do. So yeah, kudos. Like I hope like probably in the show notes or whatever, Mike will link like Kibler's page.
Yes.
I think.
Do it, Mike. Do it.
I'm like blackmailing you. Now I say that on the cards, you basically have to do it now.
Yeah, you don't get a choice.
Yeah. Like when he plays Nefarian like 4 times because he got duplicated twice or something. And it looks so sweet when you watch him play it in the video. Because like you're not killing your opponent, but there's no way he can win either. And obviously he's playing against Control Warrior. It's not me, but yeah, it very well could have been the way my game went down. It was just painful. Yeah. But Matt is a different story with regards to the deck.
Yeah, I've been grinding Patron for all that, like most of the last week of the last season, and then the first 2 weeks of this season. And I basically just shadowed it as a patron because he didn't really get a chance to, I guess, make use of the later stages. And like we saw before we started recording, when you were playing that game against the mage, where you started making your patrons, and the next turn he just conceded because he didn't have Flame Strike, and that's sort of, I guess, was similar to my experience in that he didn't have Flame Strike, and there was just nothing you could do. And I think that's sort of where this deck kind of falls apart because they've got the one Arcane Explosion with the Pyromancer. So that's, I don't know. It seems like it can sort of it can clear away, I guess, the damage patrons, but it doesn't seem to have anti-patron aside from Flame Strike. And that's
I guess Blackwing Corruptor's decent.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, it can sort of shit on on a patron, I think.
On a patron.
Yeah, it's kind of yeah. So it's sort of like it's kind of lacking in that patron removal, but I suppose there's not a huge aside from Handlock, there's not a lot of people who can really run patron hard counters with like Hellfire and Shadow
list,
Flame.
like the Lonely Link list, it doesn't play expensive things that like patron can abuse, except Boom. Like his 3, 4, 5s are all like big. So in this way, like it would probably have a slightly better patron matchup than like Druid, because he has Flame Strike in his deck and he has like Frostbolts and some degree of removal, and plus his threats are all like Druid sized threats. So like it's not like this deck's gonna get rolled by patron. It's just not super advantageous, but I'm sure there's some play and it'll be like quite even.
Let's be honest, not a huge amount of people are playing patron at the moment.
Yeah, not a lot. I mean, I haven't seen a lot, but
jokes. Everyone's playing patron.
Come on, well, I'm not at your ranks. Let's be fair.
No, I haven't seen. That's one thing I haven't seen. I haven't played a lot of match. I played more Control Warriors than Patron Warriors. Which is
I've been playing more patrons than Control Warriors.
Well, it's
so ridiculous though. Like the mirror is stupid. Like
it's whoever get the weapon. You look at the Mulligan guys, and it's just whoever gets the weapon.
Yeah.
Whoever gets Death's Bite, turn 4 Death's Bite, turn 5 patron. But if the opponent has the execute and hit with something answer, then you lose, because then he'll patron off on his own turn. So it's just like who gets the combo first without getting stopped. Like and getting stopped just is highly dependent on either brawl or execute, basically. And I still don't know what's the correct play. Like, do I wait for the turn? Because if you see, the thing about the combos is that they are rivalrous. If he combos first, I cannot combo because my combo makes his combo better because I will win. So
yeah, the correct play is just to get it. I'm pretty sure that the correct thing to do is just get your combo, get it out as soon as you can. The only time you're sort of going to get
it's as soon as you can. Sorry, it's as soon as you can. Like turn 4 Death's Bite, hit turn 5 patron, hit with Death's Bite, break the patron into 2.
Yeah. Turn 5. A lot of the time, you'll be in a situation where you can patron and inner rage the patron, and I think that's generally the correct play.
Okay, if you have inner rage, I think it's a no-brainer. What if you don't have inner rage?
Well, how you do? What you mean? Like just play a naked patron?
No, obviously not. I mean, like you play Death's Bite on turn 4, you hit his face with Death's Bite, you clear like a Gnomish Inventor or whatever. Turn 5, you play patron. You have a patron in hand. You can play patron, attack something with the weapon, or attack face with the weapons, and the patron will split to 2. And in that spot, if you had inner rage, I think it's a no-brainer, right? You would go for it, definitely, against in the mirror. But if you don't have inner rage and you can only get 2 patrons, 1 damage, 1 undamaged, then is it worth it?
Well, because then what are you losing to? If he doesn't have a weapon
execute
active,
and weapon,
you're losing to it like execute and weapon charge, which granted is like decent. You have a decent chance of facing that, but I think that's the sort of without like that. Sometimes with patron, you just have to be able to just play half your combo and hope that they're not going to be able to clear it, because that's just how sometimes you just have to play that to get ahead. I think, unless of course you have the old Thaurissan on turn 6 makes things much more interesting. Like if you have that on turn 6, then obviously don't play your patron on 5. You can
how does Thaurissan make the game interesting? Like whoever plays Thaurissan wins. Like that's how I feel in the mirror.
Yeah, interesting for you because you get to win the game.
the worst is the worst is the turn 6, like the turn 5 coin Thaurissan, and you're like, he can go off next turn. That's why he coined it, right? Like, so scary.
It's just so filthy with the free whirlwinds. That's really what sets it
Yeah,
apart.
free whirlwinds.
The free whirlwinds
Holy
is so
shit.
so fucking filthy.
Wow.
It's like ugh, have to have a bath.
It's like you have like 4 enablers in your deck or 3 enablers in your deck that are free because of Inner Rage and Whirlwind. Like shit. It's ridiculous. Yeah, so patron aside.
L to patron basically. It's
Yeah.
where we're at.
Yeah.
Patron aside, the mage decks. I mean, it's not for everybody. Like if you want your games to end quickly, these are not the decks you play. Like for sure.
If you don't want to play 20-minute games, then probably not for you.
But if you like 20-minute games, which I there are some people who do really like long games and like control decks. And like the deck has a lot of room to like tweak and tool to like whatever meta is popular at the time. Like you can go more anti-aggro, you can go more anti-control, dependent on your meta game. So it has a lot of space for that, and like yeah, just playing mage is a benefit in and of itself, even especially in tournaments because no one knows what the hell you are. It could be anything, right? So like as in, like that's the thing you see. Like even if you're a warlock, like they know you're either aggro or you control. There's rarely a mid-range warlock, right? Even like the melee lock is, I would say, a control deck.
That's been spiking up. Remember how like a couple of weeks ago I was saying like I was on Dionadio stream, like I beat her with Malygard lock.
Yeah.
And she's like, what, this isn't a deck, Dragons and Warlock isn't a deck. And then I was watching it the other day and she's playing it. I was like, gotta.
Yeah, the deck's decent. Like
It's slowly becoming more decent because like with the, I guess, less Face Hunter and even less Zoo in the current meta.
yes.
It's much more viable, like because it shits on Patron just by function of having the Warlock,
Hellfire.
Hellfire and Shadowflame. You don't even need your Malygos, Soulfires and Dark Bombs, just because by function of how Patron Warrior plays, where you're just consistently hitting things with your face and you get lower and lower and lower, and hopefully you get to explode on them before they kill you. But yeah. And yeah, it just sort of has so many answers. And I'm a big fan of Malygos Lock just because, 10 and 9 damage Soulfires are so much fun.
I don't see how this deck is better than Handlock though.
I don't think it is. I think it's just like people get bored and this is something that's fun.
Yeah.
Blowing people up is fun. Smashing people with giants has been around forever, but Malygard Lock, not so much. Blowing people up with Soulfires is still new.
The deck is really dependent on
Thaurissan. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of need really. I mean,
you win all the games you get Thaurissan.
I mean, apart from like Malygos, like obviously the deck kind of wants Malygos, but like more importantly, Thaurissan like enables because you don't play like any like inherently super efficient cards. So all your cards are like kind of like expensive around like the 4, 5, 6 slot mark. So like Thaurissan allows you to get like a nice like Hellfire clear plus play something. Yeah. Those are the like Thaurissan are the games that you win. If you don't have Thaurissan, your deck's really clunky. At least Handlock, you kind of got Molten Giant, so you don't really need like if you Thaurissan's in your deck, but even if you don't draw it, it's not the end of the world because you have a card that naturally reduces cost by itself by virtue of taking damage. Like this deck doesn't have that. So see, I love how like everyone always, whenever something new comes out, everyone's gonna try building like a non-handlock control warlock. And then they start putting in all the handlock cards, so like Shadow Flame, Hellfire, Twilight, like, and it starts moving to like Twilight Drake and like Siphon Soul, and then like, I need a way to win control mirrors, Jiraxxus, and then you just look at your list, you realize, hold on, I'm just playing handlock with a different 4-drop and maybe no Moltens. But sometimes like to beat Hunter, then they play Molten as well, and like, all I'm doing is just playing a different 4-drop and like some like 5-card difference, and the rest of the deck is basically handlock, which is what like the Demon Lock was for a while. It was just handlock plus some stuff.
Handlock plus Void Callers.
Yeah. Exactly. and Morganis and maybe Doomguard if they're feeling like, I don't know, frisky.
Feeling
But-
cheeky.
Yeah. Yeah, Handlock's just like the deck's just solid. Oh yeah, if you want to like beat Handlock, I guess this Dragon Mage is a decent choice. I guess you can't really beat is Jiraxxus, but a lot of the decks are not playing Jiraxxus nowadays. And a lot of your threats are 4 health, so like or even more, so like Hellfire really doesn't do much against you, which is a good thing.
And
So,
I was really struggled like recently with Handlock trying to find a turn 2 play Jiraxxus in. There's like it seldom without being in fatigue do I want to actually play it. It's just sort of like so much other shit I need to be doing than just like invest my entire turn into a Jiraxxus. And it's just
yeah, that's the problem with Jiraxxus.
hard to pick It's really hard to pick your spot.
It's only
Unless it's
really
a
effective
8-mana
in like
one.
control matchups, I feel. I don't think it's good anywhere else.
Maybe if it gives you a breath of life against Face Hunter when instead of being on 5 health, you're on 15 health. But other than that, it's definitely hard to find a spot.
If you come to a point whereby you can play like a Jiraxxus to win, I think you would have won with like a second heal bot. Because you're playing 2 heal bots on Jiraxxus, that's just like kind of strange. Right.
True.
It's like it's extremely excessive. Like I would rather you play like Elden Ring Farseer than Jiraxxus if you want to beat like Hunter, and you're already playing 2 heal bot. You know, it just doesn't make sense to play a Jiraxxus to beat Face Hunter because it doesn't beat Face Hunter. Like if you get to a point where you win with Jiraxxus, you need to have played both heal bots or at least 1 heal bot already. Like it's so conditional a win condition. So yeah.
What about you, Mike? How's your meta anatomy experience been?
thus far this week,
Yes.
okay.
Man, someone's squeezing your balls. Just
Yeah, exactly. It's all right. No, I mean, again, this week I have not played a lot on ladder. It's been mostly arena. I haven't seen anything out of the ordinary. I mean, we talked about the Toshli Mage. That was the first thing I saw recently that just kind of threw me off. That's it though.
Toshli just feel like such a boss playing Toshli.
Yeah, I mean, tell me what you guys think. I'm just seeing a bunch of mage, paladin, warlock, hunter.
Every time I see paladin,
right?
Every time I see paladin playing patron, it's just like I get to win.
You
Because
think so?
it's too slow. Yeah, it's a lot of the time it's just like I'm without the equality. It's just so hard for them to win.
The Pally's moving towards double equality now. It's like
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
Right.
yeah, I haven't come across one where I've had faced 2 equalities, but it's just every time they master is just such like a bad card against patron unless you have like the immediate follow up into quartermaster the next turn.
Duding
And
up is such a bad card against patron.
Oh, duding up is
Yeah.
just like duding up gets me up just because it's so nice to bounce off a patron or even just whirlwind another target for frothing berserker and just smash him in the face.
Yeah.
And they have a hard time dealing 3 damage. That's not true silver champion. So a lot of the time I found myself in a position where I've whirlwinded with like an 8 to make an 8 or 9 attack frothing berserker, and it's got 3 health, and they need to either take it to the face with true silver champion or equality, and it just sort of feels a little bit clunky to equality 1 3 mana, 3 health, or
Yeah.
a couple of health. Yeah, it's just sort of hard to deal with.
Yeah, it's either because I mean I've been playing a lot of paladin. Like it's either you use the equality or you use an owl if you're running it, or I guess you can outdoor it. But other than that, I mean you've got to use some of your.
You can outdoor.
I mean,
Eldoring it.
It just doesn't. It's like putting a Band-Aid.
yeah.
On it.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't fix the problem because it doesn't silence it. You can
No,
just keep
right.
building it up again.
Right. Yeah, I mean you're absolutely right, but there's a point where you go, God, I don't have any other options, or the game ends next turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least I
That's
have to
true.
start all over again, I
Right.
suppose.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, the meta's not changed significantly for the past few weeks.
To be we're in the afterglow of like the post BRF
Yes.
thing. It's all been
Sure.
sort of solved slowly. Like it's like we're getting these little variations, but
Right.
it's we're
In the same way that like post Next and post GVG was very settled.
Mm.
So
nothing much going on here. No,
Yeah.
until someone like just comes up with this crazy deck idea, breaks the meta, and it's just shits on everybody.
Maybe that crazy change might come in the form of shaman decks. Maybe. What do you think?
Whoa.
Huh?
Whoa.
Whoa.
I think-
Actually,
Brand-
maybe not because
Because yeah, so a couple weeks ago, we didn't do an episode, but I did a PSA. So, and we talked about a Reddit post that was talking about the current state of shaman and potentially what could make the class better. What this individual or other people thought of the class and what they thought was good, bad. And so we're gonna talk about it last week, but we put it off, and we'll talk about it this week. Guys, what do you think of shaman? What and maybe we'll just start with the elephant in the room, overload. Is it a bad mechanic, or do we just have cards that make it bad? Can it be a good mechanic in the game, overload itself? What do you think? Who wants to take it first?
Can I start?
Yeah, Avery, go for it.
Okay. I think that overload is an inherent. It doesn't. Okay. Let me see.
Let me gather
I
my
don't
words.
think. Okay. Firstly, I don't think that overload is an inherently flawed mechanic. If I like just in the concept of like spending mana earlier, because if the effect that I'm getting from the card is worth it, like it's worth the total that I'm splitting up the cost of, then it is like it's obviously like worth is good. And it encourage and shaman decks would then it's a class that encourages better deck building. Because like if you know that you're definitely going to be playing Pharaoh Spirit on 3, then you don't want to be playing many 4 drops because you're unlikely to play them on 4. And you don't want to play them on 5 because then you're wasting 1 mana. So you want to be playing like more 2 drops instead. Which is why like shaman lists of old that played Pharaoh Spirit, Overload, 3 drop, but it was Unbound Elemental, I mean. Lightning Storm, Double Lightning Storm or whatever. Like these cards are in shaman. Like they don't play many 4 drops, they only play like Defender of Argus because they can make use of their totems. So like that's how the old shaman decks used to look like the control-ish shaman decks. The problem is that so in and of itself the mechanic encourages better deck building, and the idea of moving mana ahead is not like the worst idea. It's actually interesting. The problem is that none of the cards they've printed allow like are like worth the cost basically.
With
like the
you,
bet like
you mean in regards to overload?
yes,
Okay.
they're not worth the overload. So lightning bolt for example, like let me think of how to like what are good comparisons. I mean, is that 1 extra damage really worth taking away 1 mana the following turn? Like like if like he plays a 1 drop and I lightning bolt it in that same spot, I probably could have arcane shotted or like what's the card called? Arcane Shot or Holy Smite or Mortal Coil. Whatever drop he plays on turn 1. But because he played it on turn 1 and I need to remove it because I have a 3 drop in hand, but I also have a 2 drop in hand, then I have to lightning bolt it, but that means I can't play a 2 drop on 2.
Right.
You know? Like it's very terrible. And a lot of the times as a shaman, it's your coin becomes used as a mitigatory factor to your overload.
Yes.
So you don't get to like get the tempo swing of playing a drop 1 turn earlier just because you have to make sure you curve out naturally because you had an overload card. So basically, okay, that's kind of getting beside the point and more towards like how shaman plays out. But basically, the problem with overload is that none of the cards are actually that worth the cost on the next turn. Because just because you get to answer a threat very well this turn, penalizing you heavily next turn means you're gonna be losing out next turn anyway. Right? So and oftentimes the cards that you are playing are not good enough to warrant the kind of mana penalization that you're taking the following turn. Because they're not likely to even win you going into the following turn. So Feral Spirit, for example, you get 2/2/3s for 3 mana, so it's a turn 3 play, let's assume. And on turn 4 you can only play a 2-drop, right? 2/2/3s don't even beat like an Earthering Farseer or a Spider Tank. And these aren't even like the best 3-drops available. If like they don't even really fight against other 3-drops well. So and I'm taking a 2 mana hit the following turn, so I can't answer his 4-drop as well. That makes Feral Spirit a horrible card as a 3-drop to be playing, right? And another good example is Lightning Storm. So basically, you're getting a slightly cheaper on the same turn card, a card that you can play 1 turn earlier than Consecration, so that you spend more overall mana than Consecration and you get the possibility of rolling 3, right?
Right.
Like, how do I explain this card? So when you play board clears, you want them to make sure that you can snowball from that point. It's like your reset card, right? But because you're playing a Lightning Storm on an early turn, let's say it's your early catch-up card when you don't have like good plays because you like Lightning Bolt on turn 1 or something, then you don't get play turn 2, then turn 3 you have the Lightning Storm, the kind of situation. Then like because you're penalized the following turn and your opponent plays like a 4-drop, then you cannot catch up with a 4-drop and stabilize. You have to play a 2-drop and it just screws up your curve as well. So basically, and so overall, I don't even think, and like what other Overload cards are there worth talking about? Like Fort Lightning's out of the question. Like it's just too expensive. It's just too much mana. That's why no one plays it. Neptulon, also very bizarre. It's like it's a decent card, but I mean, the thing aside, I think the overload is way too high because when you get 4 cards, you want to be able to play them, but you cannot play them the following turn also because of your 4 overload. You can't play on turn 7 really. You have to play on like turn 10 to make sure you got 6 mana the following turn. You play on turn 7, you're screwed the following turn because you just spend your turn 7 doing nothing if you BGH you. So, like, it's just also not a great card because the overload is just not fair and it's just not good enough. I think that Blizzard has a difficulty balancing between like a fair overload card and a broken overload card. Because overload is a kind of mechanic that if you make it too good, it'll be completely broken, right? So like, if Feral Spirits costed 2 mana and it overloaded you the following turn for 2, that's completely broken because 2/2/3s for like 2 mana turn 2 and costing your turn 3 is like perfectly acceptable because you completely answer is 2, right? So like, and you answer is 2 and even more than that, you can maybe answer is 3. So like, that will make the card like, I think like way too good. If you made them 2 mana 3/2s, that's also like I think slightly too good because there's too much power on the board for its cost. So I think, basically, yeah.
I think that's sort of like that was my main, I guess, responding to I guess the PSA that Mike put out that was my main criticism, talking about the 2/2/3s with the 2 overload, in that if it was only like 1 overload, then you could play another one the following turn. So you could play one on turn 3 and one on turn 4.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think that's the main reason why it's got an overload of 2, is so you can't easily be in a situation to chain them up, because that would be really strong.
Yeah, it would.
Almost like too strong. Obviously, you can play it later in the game where you can get 2 in 1 turn and have like an overload of 4 or something. But yeah, I think that was the main design behind that, is so you could never really chain it up effectively.
I think like the best example of an overload card done well is Firebound Face Boy. What's it called? Firebound Elemental, is it? Fireguard Destroyer.
Yeah.
What am I saying?
Fire.
Sorry. I think that card's great. Like it's a fairly costed overload. Like 1 on the following turn is fair considering you can get a 6/6 for 4 mana, or a 7/6 for 4 mana, or a 5/6 for 4 mana. Like that's the kind of overload that's good. But you can't have like the whole shaman class be those because then the class will be too strong because everything's too ahead of the curve, you know? Because like if everything you delay by like 2 mana over, then you will just be playing undercosted cards for the rest of the game.
Mm.
You understand how that works? Like if your 1 drop is 1 mana ahead of the curve, then your 3 drop is like 2 mana ahead of the curve, and then your 4 drop is like 2 mana ahead of the curve. Then you'll like forever be playing ahead of the curve. Then your entire deck's just ahead of the curve. And factoring in Lava Shock as well, like your deck will just be like crazy. So they can't make all the Overload cards as good as Fireguard Destroyer. But the ones that they have are just not good enough for their cost, and they don't do enough for the tempo that you're giving up on the following turn. And looking at how sorry.
I mean, the way I was thinking about it is when the game came out, that wasn't necessarily the case. Like Lightning Storm, people used to say that was one of the best board clears in the game, way back when. But I'm wondering if it's power creep. Is that part of the problem with the shaman class? Or is everyone else getting better cards so it kind of just lessens the impact of shaman overall?
I don't think it's power creep. I think it's like aggro decks getting more options, so aggro decks inherently get better. Because if you play shaman against like Druid or shaman against like Handlock or Control Warrior, it's really not that bad. It's actually quite decent. The only problem with shaman is that it's very hard to tech it to beat aggro. And the reason why it can't beat aggro is because you get very punished by not curving up properly, and your class inherently prevents you from curving up properly because of overload.
Which brings up the next problem too, is card draw. Other than Manatide Totem, we don't really have a lot of options built into the class. How do we fix that?
Shaman card draw. It just seems the only like card draw you do actually have built into it is Farsight and like Manatide.
Sure. Yeah,
but yeah. I think so. Like the thing with Manatide Totem is it's based on, I guess, like how there are almost too many like 3 damage removals for it to be like really effective. Because as soon as you you need to get Manatide to stick for 2 turns, and this is sort of where like the synergy between the available cards and the hero powers sort of begin to have a divide. In that, like, you can totemic what? Might it, and it gives you a bunch of health, right? Yeah, totemic might, or give your totems +2 health, so that would put Manatide up to a 5. But I suppose it's 0 mana, so it could be a thing. It's sort of like
it's definitely not a thing, man.
I just feel like since the class already has card draw problems, you don't want to put a card in your deck that's so situational. You know?
More importantly, like, card draw is the kind of thing in your deck that you never want to get disrupted because it's integral to the functioning of your deck. Which is why, like, you know, like Control Warrior, when you play Control Warrior, it's very important not to anyhow play your Acolyte of Pains. You want to make sure you can draw at least 2 cards off of them because it's integral to the functioning of your deck. And you can control that by like making sure you have a Deathbite second charge used up when you play the second one on where you play your Acolyte turn 5 or whatever, right? But when it comes to like Shaman or other classes where the card draw is not disruptable, so like Arcane Intellect as the most base example, or like Lay of Hands or Ancient of Law, these are not disruptable, or like even Warlock's Hero Power, these are not disruptable card draw effects. But Manatide Totem is very dependent on whether your opponent can answer, and most of the time they can answer, which means that you have no more option to draw cards, basically. Yeah. Which leads to like Shamans having to play like weird things like Gnomish Inventor. Or,
yeah.
Right.
Or, like,
Azure Drake.
Orders. Azure Drake. Azure Drake is fine, but Azure Drakes alone are not enough velocity. We need more stuff. So they play like Loot Hoarders.
Yeah.
All these cards are subpar, and that's why Shaman looks like it sucks, because it's full of these kind of cards, but it's needed, because if not, you always run out of cards. Because Manatide is just not good enough an option. I think the solution is to like either make a Overload minion that comes in, draws a card, and the draw card is like the Overload cost, basically. So like
I think like a body
mana,
like
4/5. Okay, not 4-drop, because they're already 4-drop. A 2-drop. Let's say 2-drop.
I was thinking like another 3-drop, like an unbound elemental that drops. So like the same body as unbound elemental, but except like 3 mana 2/4. You could be like 3 mana 2/4, overload 2, draw 2 cards or something like that.
I don't like that because
Oh, wow.
you can't play Fire Guard Destroyer. So I'd rather a 2-drop.
Hmm.
2 mana 3/2,
So-
overload 1, draw a card.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well,
Or 2 mana
Wait. You said
overload.
3 mana, 2/4, draw a card.
Overload 2. As in you
I
said
was,
overload.
saying, I was saying draw 2 cards with an overload 2.
Okay, but maybe draw 1 card, overload a 1. I feel like then it just makes it the same as the engineer, but is it because the overload has a negative effect on your next turn that would make it? Because generally, what am I thinking here? That with not all overload cards, but some of them you're overpaying by 1.
Yes.
Generally, when it all comes down at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Though to be fair, I mean like Lightning Storm, which is one of the more acceptable ones, you're not overpaying by 1
Like
because
right. I mean,
it's like
I
it is
like
slightly better than Consecration.
Yeah. I like that card, Matt. I just wonder if Blizzard would actually do it. I wonder if it's too good.
But
You
2
know what I
mana
mean?
2/4, overload 2, draw 2 cards.
Or that or overload 1, draw 1 card. I wonder if overload 2, draw 2 cards would actually be okay.
I think it'd be fine.
In the way that Blizzard would actually implement it. But
You would never want to play on turn 3 because it's horrible.
mm,
You completely because you don't even get to play a board clear on turn 4. So like it's not
right.
you will never play on 3, you probably play on like 7 or 8 to gas up. And like eating your mana on turn 7 or 8 is acceptable.
So
Or like yeah.
what's a good, other than Loot Hoarder, what are good early game options for getting card draws? That's it, right?
Gnomish Inventor.
Okay.
Which is kind of bad. Like now they don't
Right.
play Gnomish Inventor, now you just go straight to Fire Guard Destroyer.
That's just
you
yeah.
definitely-
That 2/4 is just so bad on turn. Especially when it's Shaman and it's all about you need the board. You're kind of useless without a board.
Yeah, they play a Zerdrix. Basically your early game is like the way you get value is through like Haunted Creeper and Flame Tongue Totem value.
Mm.
That's how you stay ahead on board and hence earn cards from your opponent by like eating his stuff through like smaller things. By pumping them with Flame Tongue. Like I think one of the saving graces of Shaman is Flame Tongue Totem. That card is actually
Yes.
super, super good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like and it synergizes with the hero power as a class as well.
Mm.
But anyway, to draw like okay, so I think we agree with Mr. What's his name?
Was it Curates or was it
Curates.
Cortez?
Yeah,
I
think
want to say
Cortez.
like Cortex. It was.
I
That's
think it's
baller.
like Cura. I would say Curates, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll go with that.
Okay, Curates. I think we all agree that Overload is a mechanic that, I mean, like conceptually, I like it. I think it encourages a different way of thinking about the game and planning your turns out better. But like it just the way it's done now, the Overload cards are just not good enough. Except like Fire Guard Destroyer.
Mm.
But having a good enough 4-drop doesn't mean the cards are good enough. Your removal is overcosted. Like Lightning Bolt is overcosted. By like half a mana. And like even then, okay, like, I mean it's overcosted. Like I rather get a flat like Dark Bomb than Lightning Bolt, let's just say.
Right.
Yeah. Because it's easier to plan the mana that way. Secondly, like what else does he say? Okay, so lack of card draw is a problem. I agree. Like as I think we all agree as well, right? Like
Yeah.
mana title term, it doesn't cut it.
And I guess maybe Blizzard's thought behind that is you have so much potential for putting cards on the board with your hero power, but I don't think that's enough.
I remember reading somewhere that his problem with Shaman was that the totems also RNG dependent.
Very, yeah.
Um,
I mean, the number of times I've lost to a shaman because he
Because you
keeps
roll taunt.
rolling the taunt totem over and over and it's like it's so it's so frustrating, and,
like
and
it
that's all
though.
it was. That's all it was. You know.
I like the Shaman hero power. As in like I don't think the totems are impactful enough to win games by themselves. Like typically, obviously on different boards, there are like different totems that are going to be good. But like, I mean, if you spend a whole game just making totems, you're not going to win. You need like the supporting cards to make the totem
Sure.
super insane, right? Or like play for the totem. So like you play for your healing totem generating you crazy value. Um, yeah, like and the way all the hero powers are set up, they all do like similar functionalities. The only very big difference is like warlock and shaman basically. And I think adding diversity to the hero power makes the game just more interesting. Like when we started playing shaman, like when I first played, I remember when I first played shaman, I was so confused with the class. I thought it was a damn difficult class because everything was so weird. It wasn't like playing normal Hearthstone. It was like completely different. Then a new player was very hard to wrap my brain around like all the shaman mechanics, especially the hero powers and how to like make sure you get the ones you want. Like if you're gonna trade it off because you got bitered it, like if you don't want to get the same one hero power first, then you trade it off. Like stuff like that, you know? It it's just a different dimension to the game. And I think if you have 9 classes that all the hero powers do similar things, it's slightly boring, you know? So having a hero power that does something quite different, sometimes impactful, sometimes not. In the same way that every other class has hero powers that are sometimes impactful, sometimes not. I think it's fine. Yeah. I don't think the RNG is a problem. Yeah. Though the spell damage one might be a bit.
Sure. That's
Imagine that the spell damage one wasn't there.
Yeah.
It's just the other 3. I think no one would complain about the hero power.
I mean, so the other thought too is how do we better make use of cards like Ancestral Spirit or what's the other one? Reincarnate.
Farsight.
Yeah. Like
Disenchant.
you need board and you need. I mean, what cards do you want to reincarnate or Ancestral Spirit? You know, I'm thinking.
Kel'Thuzad, Sylvanas.
Yeah, but those are end game. You know, and if you want to do it and hope that the card stays and sticks, that's what turn 10, unless turn 9 with a coin. But let's be honest, if you're playing Shaman, you've probably already used the coin.
That's true.
And then you hope that they don't have a hex or a polymorph or a silence, and I don't know.
Let's be honest. No one's playing Shaman, so you won't be afraid of a hex.
Right.
and everyone who is playing Shaman is playing Mech Shaman and just waiting for the turn 3 win. Man, I wonder if I still have that screenshot somewhere with turn 3 win.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
And or if you're life coaching, you're playing 100% anti-handlock Shaman, and it has its uses. I definitely think it's niche, but it's there, especially when you need to play like best when you need to use in those tournament situations where you have to use like 6 classes or something.
I think that's more a function of sometimes being forced to play Shaman, so I might as well make use of that one Shaman card that's good against Handlock, i.e. Earthshock. Like he could have built the same deck that probably does as well against Shaman with almost any other class, like Mage, for example. But he has no other use for Shaman, so he might as well build the anti-Handlock deck into Shaman. You know what I mean? Like strategically speaking.
Yeah.
Rather than build an average, which is pretty bad against the few Shaman deck, you just like, might as well, and then you just make it your anti-Handlock deck. Which is, I think, a lot of players' strats. Like, they made their Shaman the anti-something deck so that the slot's not wasted on a bad deck.
So you're saying just go all in with a build?
I mean, tournaments, that's what players have been doing. They've been going all in again. Like, they use their Shaman as a certain, like, in formats where they might be forced to play Shaman because they're bans and picks and like they're all 9 deck formats. Then, like, because you might be forced into playing your arguably the worst class in the game right now, you want to make sure that you have a very reasonable chance of beating somebody with it. So you go for a very niche like deck situation matchup. So you have like at least 1 or 2 positive like very positive matchups in your favor. And one of them happened to be Handlock because you have Hexes, you have Earthshock, which is like the D card against Twilight Drake. And like if you play even more BGHs, you're just never gonna lose. Basically, you're gonna like out grind your opponent's threats and stuff. Yeah. So how do we use reincarnate. I mean, there was a deck that was going around for a while. What the Earth Alley thing.
Yeah.
But I don't like these cards. I feel that they're very situational.
I
Like,
mean,
in the same way that revenge is great for its cost, but
sure.
it's very situational.
And I like, I mean, that the Earth
No, not
Elemental.
revenge. I meant Rampage. Sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah. And I like Earth Elemental. I mean, I remember way back when Crusher Shaman, when that was a thing. I had a lot of fun with that deck.
Crusher Shaman is that as in like is that the one with the Wind Fury, or is that the one with like just the
play
Zeus?
Earth Elementals
Leroy?
and Leroy
no,
was
Leroy.
in it, and you play Wind Speaker.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah, I used to play a bunch of it was like the mid range shaman where you just like kill them with Leroy for like 18 damage.
Right.
Oh, I played that as
Something
well.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
way
It's
back
just-
when.
Way back in the day.
Before next. Yeah. This is
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, but definitely it was before Nax.
Yeah. And people actually played Unbound Elemental, which I really like that card. And I maybe we need more cards that benefit from Overload to make Shaman better. Maybe one or two more. I don't
There's
know.
a problem with the mechanic. Do you know why Unbound's not that good? Because it's hard to weave Unbound in because of your overloads.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
just difficult. If you had like a one drop that grows with overloads, that would be good.
Mm.
Like a Undertaker
Yeah.
for overload.
Yeah.
I think that'd be not bad. Then you can actually go for like the tempo mage kind of play. Like it's your mana worm basically.
Right, because what a shaman generally suffers in the early game. It's not till the end game
Yeah,
that they
exactly.
start. Yeah, right. Mm.
But maybe would that be too good? It might, right? Like,
I don't know.
like you get an Undertaker situation. Like you make a one mana 1/2 that grows +1/+1 for each overload card cast. So turn one you play it, they play whatever, you lightning bolt it. Or then your turn 3 has 2 mana. What can you do? Nothing much also. Yeah, I don't think it'd be too good. Overload itself inherently make sure you don't snowball. So
Would something like what is that card?
oh, when you play overload, draw a card. Oh shit.
Oh wow, that would be.
Yeah.
I guess maybe there's a totem you could place. Maybe that wouldn't make it so overpowered then, because you're just putting in O2.
You there are too many useless cards in your deck. Like you're playing Flame Tongue and Mana Tide already, so you might as well make, like, it has to be a card that does something.
What if we had something like a Cogmaster that fed off of totems instead of mechs? You know, like a turn 1/1 or 1/2, and plus, you know,
So you can totem the next turn and it'll get like +2 attack.
right, something like that. Would that be too much?
I don't mind that. It's like a better zombie
Man.
chow kind.
And then you get those like then you get that really cheesy turn 2 where you play Flame Tongue Totem. So it goes to 5
Ooh,
attack.
wow. Yeah.
Boom.
Blizzard, make this happen.
Then coin wind speaker. Kaboom.
Oh.
Man, if anyone from Team 5 like listens to this, I would just like even like a tweet at us. I think that would like make my year.
Would it make your
Team
year?
what?
Is that
Team 5.
Team 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
What's Team 5?
Team 5's the
They're
team
the-
that works on Hearthstone. At Blizzard.
Oh, okay. Right.
There's actually significantly more than 5 people in that team now, but
I actually only know Ben Bro. It's the only name I know.
I know Reels is on it. I was looking at the list of Team 5
Oh,
people
yeah.
last night, and I was like, I was looking at somehow my Twitter feed, it came up with they were doing like team building exercises, and I think they were like playing laser tag or something. It was right up my alley. And it's just like
Oh,
Ben
yeah.
Brode in his classic, the shirt he wears, the what is it, the black and red. I don't know what it's eluding me what it's called. The type of shirt that is.
Like
Anyway.
I don't know, polo?
No, not the polo, but it's like a fuck. What is it? It's gonna kill me. The type of that, like, I guess that patchwork kind of coloring.
Checkered shirt.
Yeah, check it. I
Okay.
think there's another word, but
All
that's
right.
sort of what
Lumberjack
it's
shirt.
Plaid?
Yeah, like the love.
There you go.
Plaid?
Yeah, plaid.
Plaid,
Yeah,
that's it,
okay.
yeah, that's
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's yeah. Close enough, whatever. That
We're
popped up on my
spending more
Twitter
brain
feed.
power like figuring out the shirt than we do on Hearthstone.
Because
content.
we got Hearthstone on the brain. Come on.
I was gonna say Hearthstone's just too easy. Like figuring out these things is hard.
Yeah. I mean, any other thoughts on Shaman?
I guess like the only shaman deck that's really worth playing right now is a very aggro oriented shaman deck,
Yeah.
and that's because Bloodlust is actually pretty good if you can get it to work.
If you can get stuff on the board, that's what's so difficult.
Yeah. So like you play a very face deck and you plan to Bloodlust turn 5. That's
It's
the
just
plan.
everyone's. I say everyone. Players are so concerned about Face Hunter and your tempo mages that are very aggro and Zulok to an extent.
Yeah.
So I feel like everyone's geared toward having some answer to getting rid of a crazy board. And that's what this relies on. Other than, I guess, your Doomhammer, Rockbiter weapon.
I guess, yeah, the advantage is that you have a turn 6 10 damage combo.
Right.
With Hammer Rockbiter.
And pray that they're not running Harrison.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, another reason why the class is decent is because of Rockbiter. Rockbiter is a really good card.
Yeah.
Because it also it synergizes well with Wind Fury as well.
Yeah.
Which is like a big part of the way the class wins the game.
Hmm.
I actually always thought the Wind Speaker would be really good. I'm quite disappointed.
It was one of and the Crusher deck was always good.
Why would you play it as a one of though? Like why wouldn't you just play the card Wind Fury? Isn't it just a better enabler?
I just feel like there wasn't enough. I guess technically you could turn 6 something like a Fire Elemental and then turn 7 Wind Speaker and then something or something like that.
Yeah.
And then run a 2 of. I guess it's not a bad body for 3/3.
But the kind of turns that you want to Win Fury, it's rarely for value. It tends to be for lethal.
Yeah.
So like
that's
you would
true
just want
too.
a cheaper Win Fury effect.
And so at that point, would you want to play Wind Speaker or would you rather just play Wind Fury, the 2-mana spell?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how decks rather, if they need a silence, they would rather play Iron Beak Owl than Spellbreaker, just because like the cheaper silence means that they can curve out better, and the 4/3 body is not really worth the 4 mana.
Right.
So like, but a 2/1, sometimes is worth 2 because you get to trade because it's not worth their time removing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like in the same way, like it tends to be better to play Wind Fury. I guess you play around Lothep, but that's kind of like a dumb reason to not play a card.
Yeah, they might lower them on turn 5, and I might not be able to play something. Just get into these situations, but then you feel so dumb when you play you don't play around. You talk through it, and then you like, nah, this is dumb to play around, and they just have it, and it's just like,
yeah,
fuck me sideways. I'm a genius, but I'm an idiot.
You mean like Tyrion and Sylvanas?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like 80% of the time I'm good, but 20% of the time I just cry. And then Matt harasses me with jokes all podcast.
Wait, you're getting it wrong. You mean like 80% of the time I'm right, but I'm wrong 100% of the time.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's basically how the math works out.
60% of the time it works all the time.
Yeah. Close.
It's in those times where you start considering like, am I not a good person? Like, why do these things happen to me? Is it because I don't deserve good things? Is it because I'm just too mean a human being? Like,
I just
have an existential crisis like in the middle of your Hearthstone game.
I don't go to church on Sunday enough.
Yeah, like I'm not Christian at all. Is this why I lose at Hearthstone? Do I need to be Christian in order to win at Hearthstone? Is that what it takes?
That's what it comes down to, religion, right? Hearthstone and religion correlate 100%. DRC confirmed.
Yeah. Actually, I think they correlate negatively because if you have to go to church, it means that you don't have that time to play.
Oh.
But then again, it also means that you have that time to play because you have an excuse. Like you just like pretend you're looking at your phone, but actually you're playing Hearthstone.
Would you suggest then a Hearthstone religion?
Wow. Church of Hearthstone. Church of Stone.
Church of Mount Ganis, man.
Yeah, you go for the dark side of it, right? Not Anduin, not any of that.
No, Anduin's like a priest. He's not actually the god. Wait, who is the god? Who did the priest pray to? I don't actually know this.
The light, right, Matt?
Oh yeah, the light.
Oh, wait, who did the priest in WoW pray to?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the light.
which
It's
is
it's no one. It's just a force sort of thing.
yeah. So metachlorians, basically, right?
Well, sort of, yeah.
Okay.
But like so the Naru are like beings of light and god level beings sort of thing,
Mm.
which are who the Draenei I guess focus on.
So
But that's one thing.
TLDR, everyone in Warcraft's a Jedi. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, World of Warcraft and Star Wars are the same thing.
Okay. All right.
That's actually true. Arthas is Darth Vader.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is,
Jesus.
right? Like so much of the storyline is like it's just Star Wars.
It gets
Like Arthur's storyline is Star Wars.
yeah. That's deep. That's real deep.
Isn't this a known thing? I don't know. Like I've always thought that Arthur's is like the Darth Vader of the Warcraft world.
Yeah,
Like
but the
the guy-
difference is like Jane. It's like that slight difference. Is like he and Jaina didn't have babies, and Jaina didn't die. Jaina lived on to become the scornful woman that she is now.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. In Hearthstone, scornful, evil, right?
She's like she just become like in Draenor. She's just like an end of like Mop or Mr. Pandaria. She's like evil. She's a woman scorned and
Trying to raise the dead.
no, that's Sylvanas.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Jaina. Yes,
the
I'm
women
sorry.
are pissed. The Sylvanas is in an interesting place where you
Yes.
know at the end of Wrath of the Lich King, she like discovered Arthas was dead and tried to kill herself.
Right.
And in the nothingness world, she was approached by the Valkyr who brought her back and be like, we can mutual benefits. You can give us I guess a place to live and we'll start bringing back your dead, create new undead,
Right.
that sort of thing.
Yeah, but Jaina, you're right. She's just kind of gone off the deep end. She was always super nice and cheerful, and now she's like just rude, mean.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jaina's just like the love of your life is dead. Garrosh tried to blow up.
Yeah.
Garrosh blew up your hometown, which of Theramore that you fought tooth and nail to establish, and your mentor threw himself in the way to get you out alive. This being Ronan, before the mana bomb dropped and destroyed Theramore, and Ronan, who was the leader of the Kirin Tor, teleported Jaina out. And someone
Ronan's
else.
the leader of the Kirin Tor, really.
Ronan was the leader of the Kirin Tor. He is deader than Disco now.
Not confirmed.
Disco's dead, buddy. Face
No,
it.
come on.
And now we have the scornful Jaina Proudmoore.
Mm.
Wait a
with
minute. Hold on.
Space.
Do y'all ever read like the Warcraft, like what do you call it?
The novels?
Yeah.
I'll send you a picture of my shelf.
Take that as a
And
yes.
I think all of them are basically.
all of them are. I haven't read any of them, but they're all on there. I got,
Honestly,
I got
I really love the what's it called? I think the best one was like the oh man. Thrall. Is it Thrall? I think no,
That's one of them, yeah. Yeah.
Thrall, no, not the Thrall baby one, but Thrall and like there's like the Alliance and Horde are supposed to have a showdown, but some kind of like portal opened and they got transported back in time into like the Sundering with Night
Oh.
Elves. And like Ronan's there with like some other characters that are also quite relevant. And then like they kind of made sure the Sundering didn't go stupid, basically.
Wait, that
I was really
wasn't that a raid too? Matt?
which one?
The where they go back in time. And Illidan's
That's-
there and all that. And that's am I thinking
Oh,
of the
yeah,
right
yeah,
thing?
that was how
That's
Illidan and Malfurion like stopped being friends, right? Brothers.
Well, yeah, that's sort of like the the Well of Eternity.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
that's
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where Illidan sort of goes full demon mode to save the well, and that's when Malfurion's like, "Nah, fuck you, mate, get out."
That's the story. Yeah, it was so good. Like it was really like I loved it. Like I thought it was actually well written, which is quite hard, quite rare for like these kind of this kind of books,
Whoa, shots fired.
Well, there's some like painful things. Like I tried to read War Crimes, which is the story of Garrosh and him escaping from the Pandaria prison into Draenor, and I got like through the first chapter, and it was just painful as shit.
Really?
Well, I didn't give it much of a chance. But yeah, it was sort of like the story of like Bane Bloodhoof being selected to defend Garrosh.
Okay.
There's like sort of, I guess, this sort of ironic trial
Right.
where the Pandaria spirits, whatever they were, the four like god spirits of Pandaria,
Yeah.
had put Garrosh on trial. And then the TLDR is basically he escapes to Pandaria by the aid of escapes to Draenor with the aid of a bronze dragon, who then, as soon as they arrive, Garrosh turns around and kills, and then Garrosh gets fucking cheesed by Thrall and gets murdered. Well, just gets destroyed by Thrall in Nagrand. And if you play Draenor, you can fly around and find Garrosh's limp dead body in a rock hand, and he's just in the most undignified pose. And that was Garrosh Hellscream.
Actually, given how limited the what am I gonna say? Given how limited the like WoW expansions are coming out, right? Like it's slowing down. Do you think you ever get to a point like how far do you think the point is whereby there's not enough like creative material left in WoW for Hearthstone expansions to?
Oh, dude, there's so fucking much. It's actually dumb.
Yeah, there's still a
Is it?
lot.
So you consider each well, I was gonna say each raid would be a solo adventure mode, but that's not quite true because Blackrock Mountain was the combination of let's see, it's two current raids like in that Molten Core and let's see, we got Blackrock Depths is an instance, Molten Core is a raid, Blackrock Spire was an instance, Blackwing Lair was a raid. I think, yeah. And then the Hidden Laboratory was another raid. So it's a few raids and a few instances. But there's several places like this in WoW. Basically, they're not going to run out, is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
There was speculated that WoW is going to keep going, will still be around in 2020.
Man.
Because we still have a lot more to go. Like, this is one of those, I guess, a sidestep storyline. Like much like Pandaria sort of. Well, Pandaria sort of isn't in that Pandaria was relevant to the proceedings of WoW because it happened in our timeline in Azeroth, whereas Draenor, all the events of Draenor can basically be nullified as soon as we leave, pending what happens next, I suppose.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's have no fear. They've got Warcraft for years.
Yeah, we still got to do the Emerald Dream and.
No, I think we skipped the Emerald Dream, dude.
You think so?
Like, well, Malfurion came out of the Emerald Dream, so basically GG.
Yeah.
I think obviously the very last thing we'll ever do is we'll take on Sargeras.
Yeah.
And for those of you playing at home and you, Avery, Sargeras is the one responsible for like demons and shit.
Right, I've heard the name before.
Somewhere. Yeah, he's like so there's the Titans who are the gods of the universe who create worlds and stuff, and Sargeras sort of like rebelled and started and made the Burning Legion, and
Yeah, I know this from when I played Warcraft. It's like 3 and Frozen Throne. I think like the name was mentioned at the Blood Elf storyline. Somewhere. But anyway. Yeah.
All right. Well,
so we never ran out, basically. Cool.
Right.
It's nice to know.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Well, so a little history lesson for listeners. Any other thoughts on Shaman or the meta as a whole for, I guess, this week or the past couple weeks? What do we think is going to happen in the future?
I don't know.
It's soon, man. Honestly.
No,
Yeah.
well, I guess the fallout of this tavern brawl situation.
That's true.
Will be the next
Honestly,
thing.
wait, I wanted to say something about that.
Okay.
Don't you think it'd be cool, like if people run like community tournaments using the Tavern Brawl format because you can add
Yeah.
friends and stuff. Alright, so like if it's a week format where like it's a deck building based one and it only lasts for a week, then it doesn't allow really meta stuff to happen. So you kind of have like mini challenge zones where the game helps you set it up, kind of. That'd be quite cool.
Yeah.
Like cash prize tournament for like a small cash prize tournament for
Cash
like
prize.
for like a Tavern Brawl.
I'm disappointed that it's not tournament mode, but I haven't seen it yet.
Can't it be tournament mode based on like the way it sounds?
Yeah.
Like with all those, I guess the available like manipulation of rules and stuff. It sounds like they could easily like make it into a tournament mode, like make that part of it.
I hope so. I do.
More
I don't think
importantly,
like
I think it's from the like the explosion of challenge zone that and how popular it went that actually they realized that people want different ways to play this game. I actually I like the concept. It's like, yeah, it's not a tournament mode, but it's like playing the game under different rules every week. You know, they created a system where you can play the game under different rules every week, and like, you know, for it's not just for casuals. I mean, for like experienced long time players who just, you know, like want to find something else to do with their time. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
Like, it sounds really cool.
I don't think it's just, you know, for casuals only. I definitely agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm just disappointed that we still don't have like built-in tournament, you know, lobbies and locked-in card decks, and
Oh yeah,
you know, that's what I mean. Because all the
just
problems that
sad.
other, you know, okay, go in and play and then take screenshots of the game to make sure no one cheated, and you hope that no one altered their decks, and then, you know, like in the round of 32, you know, whatever. We won't have to worry about any of that. That's you know, once you get into a tournament, whatever the rules are, you make your decks. They're all locked in. You can't cheat. You know, I actually won that. Well, no, the game said you lost it. You know,
I agree.
but I do wonder how
Actually-
much work that is. Like, I'm not saying Blizzard, you know, bad on you, but I'm sure that's a lot of work.
Yeah, you have to control like who's allowed to make tournaments and who's allowed
Right.
to be the organizer as well.
Right.
So that's gonna be difficult.
And I think that's part of the problem too. Is, are we going to have like a bajillion people like making tournaments, and so no one actually gets a tournament because there's a million of them, and everyone has like 2 people, you know, in a lobby of 8 or 16. You know,
Yeah.
who moderates that? And so that's a whole nother issue, I'm sure.
Actually, you know, it'd be interesting for future. I was thinking, it just occurred to me for like future Hearthstone World Championships or whatever. Okay, so like my thought stemmed from this idea. Like, you have like a mini ladder for the brawl, and it's just for the week, because every brawl format changes week to week, right?
Right.
So like you have like, and you see, because the brawl format changes week to week, it means that like honestly the players that are top at the end of or like a brawl season for like the month or whatever, they're not there because they grinded hard. They're there because they are actually like insane. Like, they're good, you know?
Yeah.
Because like they can adapt from format to format. So you have like I was thinking like having a mini leaderboard for like the top 500 players on brawls or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it evolved like interesting. The fireside gathering system is actually kind of stupid and retarded, and just it's like it doesn't actually make much sense. It runs in a similar vein as the way Hearthstone points do, because the tournaments that would be fireside gatherings could also be tournaments, if you got, like local tournaments.
Right.
So like, imagine if like this
Right.
brawl thing, like winners of the brawls, like a monthly brawl, like you're the top brawl player or whatever, and you accumulate points that way, then you are the guy invited to the next Hearthstone World Championship. Like, wouldn't that be quite cool?
Sure. Yeah.
Because like you've proven yourself as a skilled player, like you can own at multiple different formats. The implication of this is that rather this assumes that the brawls are actually skill testing and not completely RNG retarded, like the heroics of
Right.
of, you know,
Right.
DRM.
And that's what I'm excited about it for.
I agree.
And I'm sure in a couple weeks this is all gonna blow over, and I think it's just, you know, I had expectations and they were shattered. Tears.
That's everybody's.
Heartbroken.
It's just
But I
not
still
really
think
anything, though.
it's gonna be very
Yeah.
fun to look forward to it.
Yeah, it is. It is. I am not, listeners. I am not harping negatively on this.
He is. Get him.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah. Everyone, get in here.
Everyone, get on mic.
I am looking forward to it. Yeah, I don't know.
What do you think the first one's gonna be? Because it was kind of vague, right?
It's I can't even imagine.
They said what, Go Shire Footman in Stranglethorn Park. It kind of sounds like it's a reference to like Stranglethorn Park's not a real thing, right? It's just like a Jurassic World kind of reference because it's released this week.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just references to like Jurassic World, but yeah, Stranglethorn is a place in WoW.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's quite interesting. Like, what could it possibly be? You're forced to play at least 4 beasts and 2 Goshai footmen. I don't know.
Okay.
Like, I mean, if it's that, it's kind of stupid, right? Like, it sounds kind of retarded if that's what it is.
I don't know. I don't know. I maybe this is. I like the idea because I feel like it can be a deck building, a show of deck building skill.
Yes.
So that excites me. I don't know. I think it's going to be good. I really do. I think it'll be just another.
And the best part is that
toy. Yeah.
It can improve. Like, even if it sucks the first 3 weeks, they realize what works and what doesn't, and it improves over time because the format changes every week. So like, there's so much room for it to grow as a mode.
It's not like Arena where 6 flame strikes and 8 fireballs is a thing. Blizzard, you need to fix that.
It's still like ladder.
You hate mages, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Mages and face hunt. Mages and arena, hunters and constructed.
Yep, you got me.
Got it.
You don't like mage in arena? I actually don't mind mage. I don't think mage is that lopsided.
I think, you've got 3. I don't know, just the unlimited
3 insane cards in common.
Oh, it's the flame strikes, it's the fireballs, and the frost bolts are just ridiculous.
But Pele is true silver champion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the second best hero in it.
The problem is that both clump at 4, and a lot of the good cards are 4 drops as well.
Yeah.
Then your 4, like, the problem with like Pele in arena is that your 4 gets really heavy, like really heavy.
Yes.
And you got to give up like a Senjin to pick up like a Armani Berserker because you don't have a choice. You have like 8 4s already. I
feel like 4 is the sweet spot in arenas anyway, though. Like, I don't mind having a bajillion 4 drops.
Really?
I don't. I think having a few big drop, like 7s and 8s or whatever, a few 5s, but I think 4 drops.
I think I agree that 4 should be the peak, but like you need because it's arena, you need enough tools, like 2.
I'm not saying like you throw everything at 4s, but I don't mind having. I guess it just depends on how it goes. Like, a bunch of 2s and 3 drops. But I guess once I have what I need in my 2 slots, once I feel like I have enough, I'd rather. Well, it's hard to say. Arena is fun because it always just depends. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I pick a 4 drop over a 5 drop, just depending. But you never know. Well, anything else about the shaman or just the meta in general? Forever hold your pieces.
Till next week, I guess. I will hold my peace.
Okay. Matt?
Yeah, I think I spoke my piece. I talked about my first world problems, and yeah.
That's really all you wanted for it. And also
that's really all.
5 seconds.
I don't know if I've said anything. For those of you playing at home, that's my favorite part of the show is like whatever Mike decides to put it I guess the last the almost the encore of the show is like that little tidbit after the podcast finishes, and that's why I always aim to get something in there. So that's where I save my best content. But I don't know if I've said anything as worthy of the last.
I think you auto win though. Like every week, you're the only one who says like completely ridiculous shit.
Well, it's not completely ridiculous. Like, so it's not like everything that I talk about at the end like happened. Like, I just try to
No,
I
but
sort of like
it's unfair. Like Mike and I both speak English. You speak Australian. You have all these weird idioms we've never heard in our lives, and it's hilarious.
Like drop bears.
or like what post
And
What
the
is it?
AGB.
post.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
HEB. Yeah. Was it
After
post?
Grog,
No,
after
yeah.
Grog,
After
there's no
Grog
post,
Bog.
after Grog Bog.
Oh my god.
Oh god. Yeah. If you want to know what an after Grog Bog is, you have to wait to the end of the episode.
Yes.
But with that, we will get into crew
God.
rants. And welcome back. This is Crew Rants. I am Tag 2. That is Matt Avery. And with us today is Jeremy Fisher. How you doing, Jeremy?
Hey, doing great. What about
Good.
you guys?
Good. He wrote in last week. So if you didn't, Jeremy, I'm going to let you just kind of give a recap of what you wrote in about. But he wrote in last week talking about kind of the ladder system and how it is now. And I guess maybe possibilities of ways to edit it, or maybe what there could be. And me, Matt, and Avery talked about it, I say a little bit. We talked about it for a while last episode, but you wrote back in and just with some other comments and thoughts. So, we thought, what the hell? Let's just bring it on the show and let's just go at it and really talk about it. So, Jeremy, why don't you go ahead and just like a quick recap of what you said last week, and then we'll just kind of go from there.
Yeah, man. So basically, the gist of the email was the idea that the current ladder system is flawed, strictly based on the fact that to reach legend, which is like everyone's goal, the card back's cool, you have to play 300 games, 400 games, whatever that entails for your win percentage. My idea was that instead of it requiring 300-400 games to reach legend, everyone plays 100 games, at least 100 games. Once you've played those 100 games, it kind of places you at whatever rank you would be. So let's say you have, and I think I said in the email like 65 because I wasn't thinking. But let's say a more realistic number for legend would be like 58%. So let's say after 100 games, if you have a 58% win rate, you're legend. Like that's what you have. Below that, 56%, 55%, you're rank 3, rank 7, rank 10, whatever your win rate gives you. And then from that point, you move up ranks and down ranks based on your win percentage instead of the whole star system, because that just leads to like this grindy month of, all right, so I got to play 10 games tonight, and I got to play 20 games tomorrow night, and I got to it just leads to this, like, basically it's like when you're playing WoW and you're like, you get the quest that's like, hey, go kill 70 boar. And you're like, yeah, this is awesome. Except
I do enjoy killing 70 boars. That's my kind of thing. Sit there and just roll my face on the keyboard and just like, all right, I'm going to watch, Daredevil on the other screen and just wake me up when I'm done.
Yeah. But I mean, my biggest problem with Hearthstone is there's really only two ways to play the game. You can either there's a setup and a design, like different game types for really, really casual players, and Blizzard's proving this by putting out the new mode. What we all thought was tournament mode is now basically just, hey, look at all these random cards and random decks, and so you have the casual formats, and then you have get to legend, and those are the only two things. There's literally nothing in between. You can play 250 games, get to rank 6, and then at the end of the season you just have nothing. So unless you're willing to, if you want to be a competitive player, unless you want to sit down all day Saturday and sit in the ESL tournament series and lose to some guy in India, or you want to play an arena where everything's broken and the mage has 17 fireballs.
Right.
Like there's nothing in the middle. What Blizzard needs is tournament mode. They need, I don't know. I know Avery played Magic. They need 8-mans. The only reason it exists, the only reason Magic Online exists is because they have online tournament modes. The client is just garbage. I mean, it's literally like trying to play on Windows 98. It feels terrible, but it exists because there is a demand for being able to come home at 12 o'clock at night after you've had a few beers with your friends and, hey, I want to play an 8-man. An 8-man is just, 8-man bracket tournament that everybody pays, $10 or whatever it is. And at the end of it, you get packs based on your wins.
That's pretty cool. I think
to be fair, DEs as well, not just 8-man.
What's that?
DEs as well. DEs and PEs. Another big reason. Actually, I'll let you finish first because I kind of want to talk about it, but you can finish first.
Oh, no, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like my biggest problem with Hearthstone right now is that for someone like myself, I wouldn't say, I'm a top caliber player. I'm never going to be a tournament player, but I do have right now, I think I'm like ranked 6 with like a 57 or 58% win rate. So like the problem is I don't have enough time the rest of the season, even at rank 6, because the first part of the month has been really clean for me, but I don't, I've got stuff going on. I work and have a wife. So.
And I mean, at that rank, you're just now hitting the grind.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
When you get to rank 5, anything before that, it's just kind of like, cake. It's cheese.
So if I want to hit legend between now and the end of the season, I need to figure out a way to put in basically about 200 games, which I don't have time for. I think that Hearthstone needs a way to allow players who are good, but not, trying to be professional players to get some sort of incentive, even if that incentive is, like I said, I think what I'd like to see is one of two things: either the 100 games and then you get a rank based on that, or maybe they do, like card backs for hitting rank 5 and card backs for hitting rank 3 or 2 or whatever. I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's something we talked about either last week or the week before, was like the lack of incentive for a big portion of players, that between rank 15 and rank 5, there's very little incentive to do anything, just because there's, you either have to make legend or you've already got the card back. There's this massive pool of players who aren't getting anything out of ranked mode. And that's something I hope Blizzard will address at the end of the season going into next year. And I'm pretty sure they will. I mean, it's all about, I think they like to respond to community feedback, and that's definitely something that the community has been asking for, is more incentive for the middle ground and getting, like, I guess, more of a League of Legends style thing going, where you get card backs or borders based on your finish. So, if you finish your top 5, you get like a gold border, and like 6 to 10, sort of like a silver, and then bronze, that sort of thing. But yeah, that's I'd say that's coming. That's got to be coming. And then with the Tavern Brawls thing, that's, I guess, enough to be a tournament mode in the client. Like, if they so desire it, there is enough functionality from what I read about Tavern Brawl that we should be able to end up, with similar things to 8-mans, but maybe not initially.
Maybe, but like, I don't know if you've seen any of the Hearthpawn threw up an article like late last night that just kind of showed all the different cards and stuff that are going to be in it. And like, they have like double banana, which is, instead of 1 for 1, you get +2 for 2. And I don't know, filthy casuals, they get everything.
That's the idea. It's like, much like the reward scheme, the game is quite polarized to that sort of extent, in that you've got the top end of the tournament players, the professional players, the players who have enough time to grind out the games at one end, and then you've got the casuals that rank 25 to 20 who are playing to get their card backs and shit, and who will still buy booster packs and stuff. That's like the biggest, that's where all of Hearthstone or Blizzard's money is coming from, is from the casual players, from the filthy casuals. A side point, I would like to see like a correlation graph between those people in Legend and people who have wives. I think there would be like it wouldn't be a particularly strong correlation, or it'd be a negative. As you get higher up the ladder, less people have wives, sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean that's my thing. Is like I'm a 30-year-old dude with a wife. Like she's not gonna let me play Hearthstone. 4 hours every night. Like that's just not gonna happen.
Amen. I feel the pain.
Man, all that pain, am I right, Avery? Like,
Well, I do have a girlfriend, but I guess she gets quite pissed off, especially like the tail end of the season. I'm like, I'm not seeing you for a week. I'm sorry. It's like grinding my ass off, trying to get top 100.
Ladder calls and just hang up the phone and see her in like 4 days' time, and you come back and you have this like massive beard, like you haven't seen civilization in a while.
I'm
it's
starving.
just like it's done. It's done. And then you collapse in front of her, and she's like, ah! And then a week later, it starts all over again.
That's actually why I don't like playing much like at the start of the season. Because if I'm going to play like, if I know I'm going to play like, intensely at the end of the season, I might as well like kind of take the start of the season a bit more chillaxed. Yeah.
I think
maybe
like
that's basically how I've played Hearthstone since I started. When I realized, I tried for the first couple of months. I've only been playing for about 9 or 10 months or so. I picked it up in July or August of last year, and I picked it up and I was like, oh, I'm going to hit this legend rank, and then I quickly realized, oh no, I'm not. Okay, well, never mind. So the way that I play every month is I just pick it up and I'm like, all right, I have this quest, so I'll just play it, and I play it in ranked so that you don't run into like resurrection shaman decks, or like I don't know, like dragon mage. So I play in ranked because
dragon mage.
Continue. It was just something we were talking about earlier.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean I play in ranked just because it makes the games feel more competitive, and I like to play competitively, even though, as I said in my email, I'm basically a competitive player with the time constraints of a casual player. So, I mean, I can easily play 100 games. Like if the setup was you get 100 games in, if you have a 58% win rate, you're legend, which I think that's reasonable. Like I think most people, I feel like that would. I heard last week you guys had said, I think it was. Mushu, you said that it would lead to a more competitive environment. I don't see that. I think that's more of what drives Hearthstone is people seeing kids like Firebat play, on a world stage, and them sitting at home, after college break or whatever, thinking, hey, I've got 2 months, I could do that. That's what drives, I feel like, Hearthstone forward. That's what players they want to see people on Twitch and think, hey, I can do that. I've got those cards.
The esports stream.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But and if all you have to do is commit 100 games a month to Hearthstone, like, I mean, that's really doable. Like, I don't know.
So
I think what the game needs is a. Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
It's okay. So multiple points. Firstly, the
Singaporean incident,
right? Because the thing about Magic is that you get to make money off it. I'm sorry, what?
No, go ahead. You were breaking up, but you're there.
Oh, Singapore?
The robots were attacking you.
Did I? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, anyway. So like Magic, you can actually make money off of it, which is the reason why like the game thrives. Like players grind dailies, and I guess sometimes 8-mans, even though it's not profitable, but they grind 8-mans as well, because you can actually earn tickets which you can then sell for money. In Hearthstone, nothing translates to money. So even if you include a gold-based tournament mode, I don't think it's going to incentivize like the rank 5 to 1 end of season players, because those are the players that have already most of the cards. It's gonna be it's gonna be like very strong for like I guess the rank 15 to 10 range players. So again, having a gold based tournament mode doesn't really add a lot to the game for like someone like yourself, Jeremy, in my opinion. I think what the game really needs is a tournament lobby mode, and it's not to find tournaments. Okay, no, it's not to like for like a inbuilt tournament system that runs itself. I guess that would be great, but
That would be awesome.
just a more smooth, yeah, it will be insane, right? Like you can play in like a HWC event, event that gives out Hearthstone points, like organized by Blizzard weekly. Like that would be great. Like, it would be crazy, right? But I think but that takes organizational work and it takes manpower from the Blizzard side. So maybe that's not the most practical thing to expect. I think from a software perspective, what they can really do is add a tournament lobby mode so that for tournament organizers who want to organize their own tournament, they can use the tournament lobby mode on the in-game. And as a player, you can access and see what tournaments are available and then join it, like through the online thing as well. And it will maybe link you to a site where they ask you to sign up somewhere else for something or to email deck list to someone somewhere. Like something like that, like, you know, like an inbuilt functionality that allows for tournaments. Because right now it's so crappy. Like,
I mean,
I
think
use an
I
external
think that
site,
would.
then you have to.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's like you use an external site, you have to like add people as your friends, play against them, screenshot. Like it's all very. It feels like too many steps that don't really need to be there if Blizzard does this properly. You know, like we're doing all the work as players, and tournament organizers are taking all the work like on behalf of a game that actually has a lot of competitive application. So I think that if Blizzard really knows what's up within the next like 6 months to a year, they come out for like with a tournament lobby mode, so it makes it easier to ensure fair play and for tournaments to run, and they can like choose what formats they want and stuff like that. That's my opinion. Yeah,
I think
you were
the
saying,
issue.
Jeremy?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think the issue you run into there is like, I don't think the website, like let's take ESL for example. I don't think the websites really have a problem with organizing their tournaments. You know, like I don't think there's enough of a demand for the like truly competitive tournaments. I mean, tournament modes or tournaments being held on their website wouldn't that just like increase traffic to their website, which is great for advertising, you know?
Oh, that's true.
Cheeky.
But,
Maybe you have to like make a like a sub your own sort of, I guess, tournament page on a Blizzard page. So you create it on like a battle.net page, and then the in-game client will link to that, and it's sort of like, I guess it's a Blizzard Battlefy type thing.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
I mean, I think my dream, like I said, is to come home at 10 or 11 o'clock at night after my wife and I have been out, and I just want to play an 8-man tournament and hop on and be like, oh, well, here's this lobby. There's an 8-man that needs 2 people. I'm going to log in, and there you are. And you know, for the
oh my
next
god,
2
I just had the most brilliant. I just had the greatest idea. Imagine your legend rank is not just rank play, but also tournament mode factoring into your elo. If they can find a way to calculate that, then that would make the tournament mode actually very viable, right?
Sure.
Sweet. So yeah, like if I were to go in and log into an 8-man and then I win, you know, 3 games, like that factors into the like win percentage that I was talking about. Like,
yeah. That would be a great system. I would play that because as it stands, like if you just have a tournament mode that if I win gold, I wouldn't play that. I just like I feel it's a waste of my time. Like I don't need to.
Yeah.
So what if because we were and Jeremy, you wrote in saying that we got caught up on the win percentage rate, but let's just say there's you play 100 games, 200 games, however many, and based on your win rate, you get placed at a rank. And Matt, I think I'm gonna have to pull you up again on how League does it. Well, let's start there. How does like League of Legends do their ranking system? How does that ELO system work?
I'll fight you, man.
First thing he says, wow.
First things first. I'm the realist. You get a team. From my understanding, there's like a team elo. So you're in a queue, and then you get random match with people who are around your personal elo, and then it gives you like a calculated team elo.
Okay.
And then so a team elo. So team A with like 1100 elo will face team B with like 1110. and basically you win and lose elo based on if you win or lose the game. So if you lose to someone who's significantly better than you, you lose less elo. But if you beat them, you gain a shit ton, and then vice versa. If you lose to a team who has much lower elo than you, you'll lose a lot of points. Or if you beat them, you'll gain less than if you beat a harder team. And then that translates into league points, and then you ascend to the top of your league, and then you play a best of 3 series to get promoted, and then get promoted to a harder division.
Now,
so that
how quickly can you get to whatever their top rank is? Like, how many games do you think that is?
Definitely a couple of hundred.
You think so? Okay.
But that's over like a season in league is a year, basically.
Sure. Okay.
So
And also, like, a lot more ranks than the top ranks are respectable, which is what I said last week.
Yeah, that's the thing, because it's much easier. It's much harder to earn. Yeah, even plat, it's once you get out of the, I guess, like the bottom 3, once you get past gold, that's when it sort of starts to get, I guess, respectable. Like if you go talk to the masses and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm a plat player," they're like, "Oh, you're awesome." And that's sort of like what distinguishes between a casual like noob and someone who actually understands the game. So plat's like the I guess the lowest level of that, in that you're starting to get better and then you're moving on to diamond, and diamond's like sort of like the semi-pro level.
So maybe that's part of the problem, because I've brought this up before where I think the seasons are too quick. We don't have anything other than you're legend or you're not legend. And it happens like that. So if someone is say, "Oh, I hit rank 2, I hit rank 1, hit rank 4, finished a season of that," or whatever it may be, which, I mean, we've talked about. I mean, it's getting to rank 5's fairly easy, but, getting from there to legends pretty difficult in a grind. I guess, is that why nobody cares if you said, yeah, I'm rank 1. Are you legend? No, I'm rank 1. Oh, pleb, get out of here. Is that kind of the thought process? Is it too quick where we don't care about the numbers?
Well, I think
it's card back or it didn't happen.
Right. Yeah.
I have my legend card back. But so I think it's almost proportional in that. So while it takes a lot longer to get to plat and diamond in league, it's in that it's a year-long season. So you have that entire year to get there, and then people sort of like appreciate it because that's how long it takes. Whereas in Hearthstone, getting to rank 1, rank 2 doesn't take very long. In that it's inside of a month, because the season's so short. You get like a proportional amount of respect based on that. So you spend 2 weeks getting to rank 2. That's cool, whatever. And even if you get to legend, it's like, "Oh yeah, I got to legend." It's like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty cool." Whereas it's like, I'm a diamond league player. That's amazing.
How long per day are you playing that you're getting to rank 2 in 2 weeks? That would be like 2. That would be like 2 hours a night,
at least.
Yeah. See, that's just. I feel like that's. I don't know. I feel like that's an unreasonable amount to expect from someone with like a job or like a wife, or it's cool for like a 23, 24, 25-year-old who maybe is finishing up school, but which is
to make the argument what we're mostly seeing in the pro scene. I mean, it's not everyone's at that age, but
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that Hearthstone needs something for people who are not that. There are people who enjoy their, like I come from a Magic background. I played Magic a lot. F&Ms are awesome. I used to love going to those, but it just became too expensive. So I picked up Hearthstone because instead of buying one deck for $400, I can basically buy the entire collection of Hearthstone for $400.
Sure.
But like none of my friends who play Magic will play Hearthstone because, unless you're going to try and get to the World Championship, like there's really no reason to play. It just happens to be a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
It just, they're not going to play for 2 hours a night and get to rank 1 or 2 and then.
There's nothing that says I'm pretty good at the game other than I hit legend
Right,
within a
there's-
couple weeks. Right.
I'm a casual player and I'm really great at this game. There's nothing for like, hey, I'm pretty good at this game.
Sure. And we
That's Magic as well, though. It's right. Like there's really like winning FNM is not a big deal, and
Yeah,
Can't you get like pro tour placemats or something? Like when you slap down like your playmat and it's like I don't know, like a top 8 in
sure, but
in
like winning a
event.
PTQ or like top 8ing a GP is equivalent to like doing really well at the Hearthstone tournament. Like it's the same.
so maybe
It's the equivalent.
yeah,
to each other.
except that you don't get anything in Hearthstone and in Magic.
Right.
You get a playmat.
so maybe that's what we need.
That's true.
So what my original thought was before I went up asking, how the ELO system works in League was, what if you play a certain amount of games to get that ranking or a ranking for those games that you played, and then you play, and that gets you into a tournament, and then from there, that's how you would move up. Does that make sense? Are you following me?
I
And
mean,
saying-
sure,
Tournament is
but,
really iffy, man. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much RNG in Hearthstone that the like placement from a tournament is kind of unfair. I mean,
Yeah.
like you could just like make the finals 8 times in a row and not promote, like just because you are really unlucky every time in the finals.
I mean,
That's
how about this? This isn't an original idea or anything, but like, what if instead of Legend players getting reset to rank, 16 every month, instead they go to
Instead of rank 5.
7 or 5? 'Cause
Now, I think
there's really no reason for like Firebat or Trump or anyone to have to play through rank 16 to 15.
And I think everyone, either you're a Legend player or a casual, I think if you don't play a lot and you don't have all the cards, the last thing you want to do is play against someone who hits Legend every month. So I think that is something Blizzard definitely needs to do. Like if you hit Legend, just start them at rank 5. Yeah, I would even be okay with that.
And here's my deal: if I get to or let's say that I play, wind up playing 300 games this month, and I get to rank 2. If instead of being set back at rank 17, I start at rank 9, maybe I hit Legend this month. Because the people who it's not. I don't feel like you'd wind up with more legendary players, because the people that get stuck at rank 12, the people that get stuck at rank 7, they're going to be there regardless.
Sure.
They're not stuck there because of time constraints every month. They're stuck there because that's the skill level which they meet, which is fine. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with casual players. There's nothing wrong with competitive players. The problem is there's just so big of a gap in between them, and there's nothing to feed the people who fall in that gap.
Mm.
No, I think all of us agree on that. Definitely, we're all kind of like in that category.
Sure.
Like I'm not really good enough to be like now even like trying to hit Legend feels pointless, because I don't have a win rate or like a skill level that makes hitting Legend extremely easy. It's still a grind for me. And after that, like getting to top 100 is just like, it feels impossible. So again, hitting Legend already feels very meaningless for me, because other than in Southeast Asia, we have like if you hit Legend, then you get invited to a tournament where you could potentially win money. So that's like the only incentive why I try to hit Legend, is to get invited to a tournament. But like other than that, there's really no real reason to try and hit. And I think everyone on the cast agrees that there has to be more incentive for the player who's like good, but like basically for players who don't really want to grind ladder, there's to be like another functionality that's more than just fun. Maybe like we can actually like feel competitive in that doesn't require like insane amounts of time to be worth it. Like a tournament mode that gives you stars equivalent to the elo that you are playing against or whatever, something like that.
So
That'd be pretty boss.
Yeah.
Have a tournament that gives, instead of winning gold, you can win stars. That would be interesting.
Because like Avery, you've got a reason to keep laddering through Legend every month. You're trying to get WC or I'm sorry. You're trying to get points.
Even then, there's not much reason. I went to check the leaderboard today in Southeast Asia. This is ridiculous. I'm never gonna catch this.
You've got enough to play last call at least. So yeah, you're right. So you've got what you need, and Jeremy, tell me how you thought, because I've talked about this before. once I get the legend card back or 2 legend, I'm still going to play rank ladder, but it's not going to matter as much because it's like, okay, I already got it once. And it's just so quick. That's what I don't like about the seasons is they're over so quick. It's almost like, did I get it? Okay, well, I almost don't care anymore.
Yeah, I'm 100% in that camp. I just want the legend card back because to show myself that like, hey, I can do this. I've got it. Once I get the legend card back, like there would be literally no incentive at all for me to play rank mode other than, like I said, I don't want to play against like Resurrect Shaman or whatever.
Sure.
You know?
What's wrong with Resurrect Shaman, man?
I don't know.
Like the sickest mana combo
You've
ever.
done that before.
kill
Like
to Zap
you log on and you're like, oh god, I need to complete this priest quest. I'm just gonna play 2 games in casual, and then the first game is like, nothing but 1 drop warrior, and you're like, wow, this is stupid.
I rather that when I'm trying to complete my quest than like, wow, mech mage, amazing. You just get rolled, and the next game is like face hunter plus like misdirection because he's just testing it or something.
Oh,
so
you were playing against Matt, is what you're saying?
I could have been, honestly. Or like then you play against like I don't know, druid with shaman cards, but because like you have only a basic priest deck, you get ruled and so on.
So
I feel like the big issue there is like the fact that they have priest cards or shaman cards rather. That's where I like if a druid lightning bolts me, that's where I'm concerned.
Fair enough.
So I this started, when we got into it, we kind of went away from ladder and started talking more about tournaments. Is that what we need?
Is that what you want, Jeremy? You just want tournaments. Is that what you want?
To be honest, like, yeah, if you could, here's my thing. If they implemented this tomorrow, there are now 8-man and 16-man. If you win an 8-man, you get this card back. If you win a 16-man, you get this card back. I don't think I'd ever play ranked again. Like,
and if you win 128 man, you're the DreamHack champion.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I want a way to play that is not, hey, to get this, you have to play 400 games this month. Because I don't have, it's not I just can't play that many games,
I feel like
I think I'm at rank 6, and I think I've played 170 games or so, and like, yeah, I'm on the verge. I'm on the verge of like not wanting to play this game anymore. It's just, like I said, it's like getting the quest in WoW where you're like, kill 70 boars. All right, awesome.
And I mean, we've talked about this too. And well, Matt and Avery, would you agree that the tournament scene is the way decks are built is different than ladder?
Yes.
No. Well, fight me.
He wants to fight so freaking bad.
You talked about this already. It's not that the decks are different; it's the percentage of decks will be different.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's off the same. Like,
yeah.
You guys think are there more tech cards in tournaments or on ladder?
That's my thought, but what do you guys think?
It really depends on like the tournament type. Yeah, like there are certain like Conquest tech cards sort of become like less, like I guess important unless you can like 100% say that kind of deck that you're taking against is going to be in there. Like taking against Patron Warrior would be a pretty safe bet. But yeah, like whereas in I guess Last Hero Standing or like when you play you have bring 4 decks sort of thing, it's a little bit more relevant. Like Life Coach bringing the that anti-hand lock shaman deck into the House Cup where they played in a castle.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like when
to be fair though,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, he brought Kazan Mystics in all his decks.
Yeah.
Against,
thinking that Firebat would have freeze mage.
Firebat, yeah. There's also but someone did this recently in Conquest as well. I can't pronounce his name, but Hoe, like the HOE.
Yeah, Hoge or whatever.
It's not Hoj. It's like Hoy or something.
H-man.
He brought a H-man, H European blonde man. he brought a shaman deck that had that was like detect out to beat freeze mage and hunter, I believe. Like it's all heal and like disruption and like earth shocks and shit. And like very little actual like value minions. It's just like pure like 100% tech card to beat just those two decks. Which I to be fair, the fire game format's different because it's not like a best of 5 conquest. It's not a pick 3 deck best of 5 conquest. They had like countered each other's decks and stuff, so like there's more room for you to pick your decks. If you have to just pick 3 decks that you want to bring, then like bringing tech cards is slightly not optimal because you could run it against anything.
Well, with Conquest, there's the two approaches. There's the approach of I'm just going to bring the 3 decks that I think are the best, that I play the best with. And then there's also the I'm going to bring 3 decks that if you think you're going to see Freeze Mage, you just bring 3 decks that Freeze Mage can't beat.
Actually, I'm going to be writing an article on Temple Storm about this.
Ooh.
But yeah, like a few Conquest strats. Yeah.
Have you been paid for any of those yet?
Yeah. Raynet, man.
Rayned threw you some coins.
Does he send you?
Raynet
Does he send you like
72K
a
per month.
giant
Some
bag
of this,
salt?
yeah. Like one of them's maximizing comfort picks. So like you pick the 3 decks that you feel most comfortable with, which would translate to you playing the best with. Yeah. Another would be like 3 decks that are all the same. So like 3 control decks or 3.
Patron Warrior.
not actually.
That's Face Hunter,
Patron
Face Hunter
Mage,
Zoo, and Aggro
Patron
Valley.
Shaman. Yeah, something like that. The another plan is to you isolate a deck, so you bring 3 decks that are all good against like 1 or 2 similar decks. So like what a lot of people did in a local tournament was Hybrid Hunter, Handlock / Zoo, and Control Warrior, because this beats convincingly in a good enough fashion what decks? It beats Patron Warrior and Oiro really hard. So yeah. And like the last typical plan is like the 3 best performing decks on ladder, because they tend to have the best like overall matchups. So yeah. I think the isolating one's pretty good. Like that's the one I've been doing a lot. Like trying to do more. If you can spot like 1 or 2 decks that are very common, then
seems like that's a lot more work. I mean, you have to basically learn 3 decks that you can't play on ladder. So you would have to have like play partners.
You can play anything on ladder.
You sure you
like,
can.
no,
if you're playing double Kazan Mystic on ladder, like you're just asking to get.
No, but like when you counter decks, you're not going for like a 90-10 counter, because that will make you suck at everything else. You go for like a 70-30 counter, 60-40 counter, like Handlock versus Patron. Handlock's good against a lot of things, not just Patron, but
gotcha.
But like
I'll take that matchup
the
as
deck is
more than a 70-30.
Yeah, I thought you were talking
so?
about bringing. I thought you were talking about like teching out one deck specifically to beat
hard counters.
You know,
like, no.
Yeah.
And it's like double Kazan or like yeah.
Double Kazan Harrison.
Or like double anti-Q-bot.
Oh.
Harrison is like the bane of my existence at the moment.
Yeah, I'm playing mid-range. I've been playing mid-range Hunter all this season, and the amount of times that I see like someone proc freezing trap and hit sorry, I just want to like take my iPad and just break it over my knee. Like, oh God, I hate you so bad.
It's more about my strife has been like them popping Death Bite like a turn too soon. It's like fuck you. There were like 17 patrons coming
I
away.
have 8 patrons next turn. Yeah, damn.
It's like you twat.
I was playing ladder last night, and I couldn't figure out if the guy was on Grim Patron or just Control Warrior, and so I kept in my opening hand Unleash the Hounds, and I set up lethal, but I had to unleash the Hounds to do it, and so I knew that he was just going to swallow my board the next turn, and if he put up a taunt, I was just going to die, like Unstable Ghoul, and I lose. And so he like had 6 Grim Patrons and a Warsong Commander, and then he passes the turn, and I'm like, well, thank you, and just unleash the Hounds, kill him. It's so great. Makes me so happy. I love Grim Patron. Playing against it, I've never played it.
I'm wary.
It's an insane deck.
Yeah, it's really stupid.
I like there was a fireside gathering near where I live today, and I was considering going with my phone, and I was like, oh fuck me, I don't know if I can play Patron on my phone. I don't know if like it'll hit. I'm scared. I'll have to like test it.
Like catch fire halfway.
Yeah.
Well, like
Double
I've got a
floating
pretty,
board, it just catches fire.
I've got like a pretty like beastly phone. Like I've got the one.
Yeah,
from
represent.
Represent, which is a pretty like top tier phone, and it can run it. Like it ran. The interesting thing was when the Android version came out, it ran the Android hack job client better than it runs the current app version. Like it was anyway, but yeah, I don't know how good I'd be at playing Patron on a phone.
Yeah, that would be tough. I mean, you have
just-
to be so quick. If your phone lags at all, you're just dead.
And I don't want to play. I've become like accustomed to playing with my HUD, like with the deck tracker HUD. It's just so like ridiculous.
That too. Yeah.
Not having that on a phone, it's scary. Being able to see cards
I
before
think
they
it'd be really
happen.
cool to know.
What do you want to know, Avery?
Where do babies come from?
Don't it sound so famous, man? Like, what's the percentage of games like that playing various tech cards wins you the game?
Oh, I want to see the percentage of games won when Dr. Boom is played on turn 7. It's just or like
Well,
turn
that
That's
6.
not very interesting, right?
As far as
That's not
tech
that interesting a number.
As far as tech cards go, I mean, I think it depends on your rank. Because I don't know if you guys have been playing as much Tempo Mage as I have, like playing against Tempo Mage. But from rank, I think 16 to about 10 or 9. I'm not exaggerating. Like 60%, or not? It wasn't 60. It was like 35 or 40%.
I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah. No, I'll have to pull. Like I've got it all written down. I'd actually keep pen and paper by me, and I'll write the game. I think at one point it was 35 or 40%, pretty close to that Tempo Mage. And so I threw Kazan. I ran Kazan Mystic over Dr. Boom just because like it wasn't. I was dead before I got to Dr. Boom. You know, like every game. And it worked out really, really well. I think, probably 1 out of every 3 of those games were just I don't think the big deal is how many of those games does, like tech cards impact. I think when the tech card does have an impact in the game, your win percentage goes from like 50% up to like 80%. Like if you get
that's the number I want to know. That's the number I want to know.
Yeah.
Like,
if you
like
play
in the Hunter v Mage matchup, how many like if the Mage plays if like say the Mage plays Kazan for a reason and a Mage playing a Kazan against a Hunter, how much does that change the win percentage? That's like the kind of number that I want to know.
if you get Mirror Entity off, if you get to steal a Mirror Entity, I just don't think they can win at that point. I mean, it depends on how far you are ahead on. If you're even on board and even on cards, and you play Kazan Mystic and steal Mirror Entity, like unless they just have like Mana Worm, Flame Cannon, like you just win there, don't you? I don't know.
Now, does that go in?
Well, the deck is garbage, so I don't know. Whatever.
Hey, your boss Reynad doesn't think so.
Well, I don't understand how you can think the deck's any good if you play like Zoo or Ocean Warrior or
Yeah,
even Kelly.
I don't like the deck at all. I think it just seems really bad. Like
it requires like the perfect combination of cards to win.
it has no like if you get it past turn 6 and you catch up on board by turn 6, I just don't think they can win unless they get like double fireball to the face. But
That's the plan. Then they're going for the double fireball to the face.
yeah.
It plays a bit like Mage, but slightly faster and slightly stupider. Like they run out of stuff way
Well, I mean, at least with Mech Mage, you're not playing like, I don't know, like Arcane when someone plays Arcane Missiles without a Fire Waker on board, you're just like, oh man, this feels so good.
I mean, is that part of what climbing to ladder is? I mean, because we talked about this last week. or where I think I didn't hit legend last month because I didn't know all my matchup as well as I should. Is that what people need more of too? And is that part of it why it takes so many games? Because we've talked about it. The meta changes sometimes hour to hour, let alone week to week. Is that really what's needed? Is it more games?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't.
No, it's just it's
just the nature of the game that almost every matchup is close to 50-50. So in any given game of Hearthstone, like even if you're more skilled, you're still not a lot more likely to win, which means that
your skill edge is tiny.
But knowing the matchup can add a huge percentage to if you win or not.
Not it's not, but not a huge percentage, because you look at the matchup. So like you look at her stats and shit like that. You just see out of 100%, and even I guess the worst matchup imaginable is something like Freeze Mage versus Control Warrior, and even then you only get like an 8% swing between Mage versus Warrior, which means there's a huge percentage of the time that Mage is still winning. And so the Hearthstone edges, particularly on ladder, is even smaller than that. Mm-hmm. So you have a very tiny edge.
I think regardless of like knowing the matchups, if you're able during a game to make your cards more valuable than your opponent's cards, you win. Like if you're able to land a Houndmaster on a Haunted Creeper, kill the Mana Worm, and go face with, like if you're able to outcard your opponent, you win regardless of the matchup. I mean, obviously you want to know.
No, to be fair, knowing the matchup. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say the only thing I think that knowing the matchup adds is knowing that, like don't play two knife jugglers on turn 4 going into a paladin's turn 4.
Right.
You're just gonna,
to be fair, given your example about outcarding, I mean, like knowing the matchup means that the warrior wouldn't allow a Haunted Creeper to stay on the board if the opponent has a coin, Like you turn to you turn to War Axe, he turn to Creeper, and even though you have no way to get the things, you still hit the Creeper anyway and armor up or whatever. Just because you know that Houndmaster.
You would be really surprised how often like they'll leave the Creeper up just because they don't want to waste a chart, because if I'm playing against Warrior and I'll throw out a Haunted Creeper, like they just won't kill it. I'm like, I don't understand what you think that my cards do, but
you need to get deep into those
ranks. Houndmaster's not like the 90% likely drop at the spot. It's probably like they're taking Pilot the Shredder, so they rather keep the charge for both parts of the Shredder. But I mean, the chance of getting blown out by.
I've moved over to 2 Houndmasters just because, like, when it happens, when you wind up getting 6-5 worth of stats out of a 4-mana card, like that's just it gets busted. It's so good when it lands. And when it doesn't land, it's really bad. On turn 3 when you want to pilot, or turn 4 when you want to pilot a Shredder and get a Houndmaster and you've got nothing on board, it's the worst. But
it's a Kazan Mystic.
High risk, high risk, high reward.
All right.
I suppose you're playing the Web Spinner version, which gives you more Houndmaster targets.
I actually only, in my mid-range hunter, I've moved down to 1 Web Spinner, and I've moved over to, I keep seeing a ton of Paladin, and so I've moved over, I replaced Hunter's Mark with a second. Other Owl acts as a Houndmaster activator sometimes. And the reason I like Owl in the Paladin matchup is just because of the amount of times that they will, what's the keep the rules guy? The 3/3 for 3.
Aldor.
Yeah, the stupid Aldor Peacekeeper on a Savannah Highmane is the absolute worst.
Yes.
So a lot of times they'll just throw down Aldor Peacekeeper on Savannah Highmane, and I'll silence Savannah Highmane and go face, turn 7, Owl on my Savannah Highmane, play Sludge Belcher, hit face, pass turn.
Sure.
Sick.
And I mean, Owl is just Tyrion. If a Paladin ever drops Tyrion, it's it's stupid. There's nothing you can do, so you have to have like
It's time to play Sylvanas.
You guys.
Hunter's Mark does nothing against Tyrion, so
Right.
I like the second owl over. If I was seeing more handlock, I would play Hunter's Mark, but I'm seeing like 3 or 4 times as many Paladin players this month. Than
Really? I haven't played against much Pally.
Yeah, I'm seeing mid-range Pally all over the place.
Yeah.
I don't know who's streaming it, but someone has to be because everyone's playing it.
Right.
I think Strife Crow at one point earlier this month was streaming it, and so basically
Yeah,
they
for sure.
30,000.
I mean, what else? Strifro plays like 3 decks, so he has to be streaming each one of them at some point this season.
Yeah.
I have played 6 Paladin games against 6 Paladins this month out of 102 games.
Really, I out of my 170, I've played. Hold on, 41. I've played 41 Paladin and like 50 some odd Mage, and the rest of it's just like Warrior and Handlock / Demon Lock. Those are the only decks I'm seeing.
It sounds like you're queued into the same person about 20 times.
I did have the same Handlock player 3 times last night. It was really funny. It's the first.
I love
time
it when it happens.
It's the first time I've ever like triple queued, and I've double queued into someone before, but I've never triple queued, and it was the first time. I friended him because I was going to be nice. Like he won one of the games. I friended him. It was going to be nice, and he wasn't a nice person.
So that must have been Matt.
Internet people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably me.
Yeah.
Add me on, I'll abuse you, sort of thing.
Why are you playing Hunter, you fool?
All right. Well, so
Comeback.
I guess more of the story is we want tournament mode. Is that what we want built in the client?
We want tournament mode.
I was so angry when they released that it was going to be Brawl. Like I literally only got halfway through the post, and I was just like, "This is stupid."
I thought it was going to be tournament as well. You know, because my thought was, let's make a version of the game like we have casual mode, but you can still get, your dailies and stuff done in there and your gold. You know, why don't we add a version that it's casual, but you don't get anything? So that way, because sometimes you're getting like you were saying, Jeremy, where you get like, I don't know, priest, dragon, resurrect, or whatever, just some oddball. But the other half of the time, you're getting an all golden control warrior who's going through and just grinding gold. There's nothing really for casual players. And then we've talked about it before, and I know that Avery and Matt don't believe me, but you've got those people that hang around, rank 20, rank 19, rank 18, just to farm newbies for gold. We just need something where you just go in and play. You don't get anything. But then at the same time, give us something other than, I guess, ladder and legend. Give us a tournament mode. And I really thought this new thing was going to be it. When they showed the picture,
everyone wanted it and thought it was going to be.
Yeah, well, they showed the tavern, and I'm like, oh, and it'll be that mode, and they'll call it like fire. Something.
You'll go in. There'll be little tables you can click on. And sit down. That would be so great.
And you start a little 8-man tournament or something. Maybe it takes you. I don't know how long it would take, but something like that. Or you can join bigger ones. Oh, that would be great. But now that I'm seeing it, I'm like, that would take a lot of. I'm just thinking, how long would that take to program and test and all that versus something like what we're going to see now, where it's more random, pre-built, maybe things.
I feel like this is even what they've implemented is even more work, because now you've got a team assigned at least a few hours a week. I would imagine it's a full day. They're going to bring the servers down between those things for 2 days.
Oh, okay.
They're going to have to every week now design this for basically the existence of Hearthstone. And you don't think 6 months from now people are going to be tired of seeing the same mode once every month? They're going to have to design a new casual mode basically they're going to be designing a new boss fight every month.
Sure.
Like, so there's got to be a couple of guys just doing that. I don't know.
I don't know.
That seems like a lot of work. Whereas if you implement tournament mode, you literally just spend, a few months writing I don't know. I don't know anything about coding but it seems like once it's done and out there, it's done, and all you've got is maintenance.
Sure.
Whereas with this, it's every week you're having to design a new brawl.
Right. I guess they're slowly giving us what we want, like what is it? Spectator mode, and then they have it now so you can spectate, and you don't have to re-click spectate once the game ends. It just automatically continues to throw you in spectate. Thank God. But I don't know. Maybe one day, Blizzard, come on, give us that tournament mode.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Like anyone who knows anything about Magic knows that the only reason that Magic Online exists is because people like to play 8-mans. There's any time that you hop on, there's someone streaming 8-mans with a couple of thousand people watching. So I don't know. It just seems like that in Hearthstone would be incredible. Like if you were go back to what Avery was saying, if in the tournament mode you get stars, like could you imagine like coming home for lunch or something, and Forsen is, instead of streaming ladder games, he's streaming a tournament,
Yeah.
Like that just seems like, and that would help the streamers as well, because in ladder games, you can just log on, watch a couple of ladder games and leave. In a tournament, like if you get caught in the middle of that, you want to see what happens.
You're more incentivized to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, you want to see if he wins.
Sure.
I don't know.
Well, any other thoughts? Anyone from this pool? Any other thoughts, or forever hold your pieces?
I'm gonna hold my pieces, actually.
Okay, all right. Jeremy, Avery,
I'm gonna hold my pee. What? No, I'm good.
No, I mean, thank you guys so much for having me on.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on, Jeremy.
No, it's good.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
We didn't even have to fight. It was. Ugh.
Oh, he's
Well,
upset.
I mean, we're still
disappointing,
going to fight. I've already bought my plane ticket. We're
That's
going
right.
to fight.
I forgot to call him a filthy casual.
Ooh. All right.
I will crush you.
Wow.
Well, thank you guys, and listeners.
The hate is real.
Listeners will be right back. And that's our show for this week. Don't forget you can find us at YouTube and Twitter at Death Rattle Crew, or download us and subscribe on your podcast catcher of choice, be it iTunes, Stitcher, whatever it may be. You can email us at mail@deathrattlecrew.com. Please send in the emails. We love the questions. We've been getting nothing but really, really good questions lately, so keep it up. It's up to you. Go ahead, Matt.
Almost leads to no emails this week. I suppose we didn't have no emails. We had the young Jeremy email, and then
That's
Mike's
right.
just like, nah, fuck it, just come on and speak your piece.
That's right.
But yeah, I would like to plug my Twitter account. Tweet at me at Matt_Mushu if you would like watch me stream, I guess, sort of to elaborate on my my life decisions and
Absolutely.
stuff. Or send an email if you want to hear us talk about something else. And on the side, P.S. I would consider watching you stream, Mushu. That's something that I would love to hear, because it would help me influence my life decisions.
Absolutely.
So help me, people.
If you've never had the opportunity to dictate someone's life, now you do. You have an impact. Write in. Tell them what to do.
Yeah. My fate is in your hands.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Do not write.
DRC.
Do not write to tell them to die in a ditch. That's reserved for hosts of the show. Only we.
If I go for 6 months and only get 10 viewers, then I'll just buy myself a nice ditch.
Find a nice ditch.
At least I'll get to pick the ditch.
Right.
It'll be fine.
But with that, I am Tac2. That is Matt Mushu Hill and Avery Yu, and we will see you next week.
Goodbye.
Straya.
I mean, hot dogs are great drunk food, so there's that.
We're more fans of we refer to as like cheeky kebabs. So wherever we are, we'll get kebabs, and then we always have to make the tough decision between chili sauce and garlic sauce.
Why not both?
Oh, do those mix?
And so that's usually the decision we arrive at. It's like,
Okay.
I'll have chili and garlic, please.
The decision you have to make is not the taste going down; it's whether or not you want that coming back up. So.
Right.
And then there's always the follow through the next morning that we like to refer to as the AGB for short, which is more common as the after grog bog.
Oh,
Which is what you leave.
It's all these guttural noises, Australian noises. Can you say that again?
The after grog bog is what you leave in the toilet the next day.
oh man.
And
Sweet Lord.
the thing is, you've all done it. Obviously, you've never called it an AGB, but it's one of those things that is on the road to recovery after a big night. Is this the AGB? It's usually the start. It's like an exorcism, just purging the evil from yourself. That's really what it's all about.
Sweet Lord, dude. After grog bog. I like that.
See, we hit the new obscenity limit.